Sometimes the world looks like you ain't ever seen it before. Stuck behind never-ending windows, all you need is a door. Searching for something to put a smile back on your face. Just remember, in unusual times, it can come from an unusual place. You need a partner for the ride, 'cause everybody needs a Clyde. So set your worries to the side. Just ask, say the word and I'll be there. Just ask, you know the greatest things in life all come in a pair. They say hindsight's 20/20, but that ain't far enough behind me. So if you want the sweetest honey, I think hindsight's 1990. There's no need to pretend I got a hand I can lend, 'cause when you really need a friend, just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.
Welcome back to Shit 90 Shows Taught Me. I'm Jess Sterling here with my co-host, Sara Fergenson. Sara, how are you?
Jess, there's one thing in life I love. It's a messy bitch. And I am so happy to be talking about this episode of Felicity with my favorite messy bitch, myself. Just kidding.
I was just going to say, I'm not the messiest of the two of us. I don't think.
No. But I mean, like, we also have like another messy bitch in here with us. And I'm so excited for today's guest.
I would say one of our like messiest listeners, if I had to like guess in terms of like the amount that they're willing to like rant and rave about people. Do you disagree?
No, like he is the rantiest.
The iconic 3-name listener. We love a 3-digit listener.
Three names.
Yeah, DBK. Welcome to the podcast, DBK. How are you?
I'm very good, and I'm definitely here to rant because, like, we're gonna change it up this week, guys, and we're gonna have somebody on the show that actually likes the show and likes Felicity. So, it's gonna be a switch for the listeners at home.
DBK, so. I feel like I changed my tune on Felicity. You heard me. I'm stumping for Felicity now. Like I'm team Felicity now.
I recorded one message for you guys. When you turned the corner, I was like, there was a message where I sent one where I was like, Jess, we don't want you on the team anymore. Like, like it's too late. Like
it's too late.
Sara came over. Well, because I thought you would be. I was like shocked you were not team Felicity from the start. Like I was kind of like both shocked that you were, because I was like, oh, like a female lead, like female led cast, like you guys like haven't technically had this yet. I thought you'd like be all in on Felicity from the beginning. And then like, okay, she's like crazy and does some like crazy stuff. I'll like grant you that. But like, I don't know. She's very much like a Annie Edwards, Joey Potter like mold of a character, kind of like. As much as I don't want to be,
you know, Joey drove me crazy, DBK.
Well, but like, she's like your favorite character on Dawson's Creek, though. Wouldn't you say?
No, I mean no. Pacey. Well, Andy is number one, and then probably Pacey. Joey's later on. But you know me, DBK. I'm not a main character bitch, right? Like that. I struggle always with like the main characters of shows. However, I have turned a corner on Felicity, especially in this episode. I mean, Sara, we're going to get into it. She does some right things, in my opinion, and then she does some classic early 20s mistakes that I think she's making.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Early, like 20-somethings, the age.
Yeah, mistakes. Especially because when you're like, this is her first like real boyfriend. And so I feel like I have to remind myself of that when I'm judging what she does, because it is so easy to fall into the traps when you're in young 20s, your first love, your first real boyfriend, and you're looking at pillowy lipped Noel, like hazel-eyed Noel. Very easy to fall into those hazel eyes.
And you have to like also like pile on like Felicity's supposed to be like a loser.
Right. She's unpopular.
She's never
That's
been,
a good point.
So she has like never had these experiences like on top of like it as well. Like she's never like supposedly been like sought after or whatever, even though it's like Carrie Russell. Like, give me a break.
This is all very fair. But DBK, before we jump into the episode, because this is the first time you're coming on the Felicity podcast, obviously we know you're a huge reason as to why we're even talking about the show. Like, I would say like 90% of the credit belongs to DBK. So give us a little bit of history on when you watched Felicity, like how many times have you seen it, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I watched first season sort of live, I guess, because like it's on when I'm in high school. Like I'm of like Felicity of age, so like 99 is a very easy year for me to remember because I was an exchange student, so that's the year I went and lived in Denmark for a year. So in 98 Felicity comes out. I watch like some of first season. It's on before Buffy, I think, on Tuesday nights, like because I've done my research. So I probably watched it because it's like on with Dawson's Creek as well. So I like the show or whatever. But then when I go away to Denmark, I miss season 2. But when I'm in Denmark, that for some reason a Danish channel is playing season 1 of Felicity. So it is like
so interesting.
Appointment viewing for me when I'm in Denmark was to watch Felicity, like whenever it was on this Danish channel. I like made sure for whatever reason. I don't even really know why, but like I always watched Felicity when I was in Denmark. So then when I came back in school, I feel like the DVDs were coming out. So then I bought the DVDs to like catch up because then I like had to wait for season 4. I like a long time for that DVD set to come out, and I hadn't like seen season 4 then, because then I was like in college and not like watching it when it aired till it ended. So I caught up on my DVDs, and then I watched it a bunch of times, and then I like listened to a podcast about it when I'm at work at first as well, because like I work in a room with like no windows. So
were there other people from Denmark that you knew that watched Felicity, or were you on this like island off on your own?
I was on this. Oh, I made my host brother watch it with me.
Did your host brother like it?
I mean, I'm sure he was like a young kid and like, well, I mean,
better like it.
I was a terrible exchange student and I didn't like know the language, so like, I mean, we were on an island together.
Perfect. Perfect. And then back then, like when you were at the point that we're at now, episode 17 of season 1, who was your favorite character? Like who were you rooting for? And are you team Ben or team Noel?
I'm 1,000% team Noel.
Hey,
easily. Ben's the worst. It's okay. Jess should remember this moment that she's gonna drag Noel.
I get to be on my high horse right now, but it's it all flips around eventually, right? Everyone becomes a villain.
Enjoy the Ben high horse and like
the thing is
so great being on. No, enjoy it, Jess. Enjoy it. Love it.
Because the best part about this whole thing is it's not even so much a team Ben, it is like a team anti-Noel, because I find Ben to just be like pretty plain toast. Like he's pretty boring. Like I feel like his nickname should be like Boring Ben, because he doesn't have much of a personality. And so like it's really more that I'm just so done with Noel that I'm like forced to be team Ben.
Well, that'll be interesting because like I can't say what I want to say about Ben and Noel yet, but like,
but you're exactly right, Jess, where it's like I don't feel that pressed putting in my stake of being team Noel forever and ever, because shows like this, and we see this with Dawson's Creek, it constantly evolves and changes, and like this might be Noel's bad season, but you best know that next season we will be dragging somebody else through the coals. So I feel justified where it's just like Noel's so down, the only place that he can go is up. And we love a character development girly. Like we love the fact that like in season 1, I mean, Dawson's a great example of this. Like season 1 Dawson is a very like unevolved Dawson, where he's very in his head, he's like very like selfish. And then in my opinion, as the seasons went on, like Dawson aged like fine wine, and he became like a character that I really did enjoy and root for. And I know that my Noel is going to come around. He's only a 21-year-old's baby, maybe a 20. I don't even think he's 21 yet. I think he's 20.
Well, I think he's
he's
drinking
older.
publicly, so I think he's.
Yeah, but he didn't.
21.
But when he was with his brother, he didn't have his ID at the bar. So I think that he's 20. Like, I think he's about to be 21.
Gotcha.
Lynn served him, or as we called him all last episode, Len.
Len.
Oh, Len.
Yeah,
Len.
It is Lynn?
Lynn.
It's Lynn.
Oh, okay. Whatever. You know what? I don't care because I hate him.
You're hating on us ambiguous name people, Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but so like my point is that like I just think that Noel is a young guy, and I mean, like, I've dealt with young guys in their early 20s. They're a bunch of douchebags and then they ruin our lives. So I get it. And you know what? He's going to be better in the future. He's going to learn from this, and he's going to be better, and he's going to have his tantrums now. But guess what? When he's 25 years old and graduated and gets his graphic design job that makes $150,000 a year, and he has his BMW, then I am going to be laughing on my high horse with him in his penthouse apartment. I mean, well, I'm a joke because no graphic designer lives in penthouse, but
I look forward to that happening.
Yeah. And what's Ben going to do? He's going to be living on the streets.
Well,
Go ahead.
I just think Noel, even right now, I don't think Noel is that bad of a guy. Like he's very like jealous, right? Like he's overly jealous, and like we'll get into it but as of right now, like I would still take Noel over Ben, even though Ben's being like a good boyfriend to Julie.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it because first, right off the bat, season 1, episode 17, Assassins. Right off the bat, Sarah, I have to say, I admit defeat. I was wrong. I am so shocked, and I was so shocked when when we started this episode, and we find out indeed Felicity had sex with art guy Eli, and I am like so shocked because Sarah, I think something that you and I were very steadfast about in our predictions when we first started Felicity was that like she's gonna lose her virginity to Noel or Ben. That was in both of our predictions. I thought Noel, you thought Ben. Like we were both wrong, and that it's some rando Eli. Like this is so shocking to me.
Yeah. Well, okay. Can we just like roll back the tapes a little bit, and can you repeat a sentence that you do not say that
I was wrong.
This is my birthday gift. My birthday, DBK, is this week, and Jessica Sterling never says that she's wrong. You know, she's kind of wrong, but she never says that she's
when
wrong.
I'm wrong when I am wrong. It's just very rare that I'm wrong is the problem, you know?
Did Tom want to be on this episode?
Tom did. I think Tom did want to be.
Everybody wanted to be on this episode. This is like the episode. But you're here. So I just want to say, like this is exactly what young 20-somethings do, college students do when they are they are virgins, they come to college, they have ideas like, oh, my first college boyfriend is going to be the person I lose my virginity to. We're going to get married. We're going to be college sweethearts. But you're in the frat party and you're fucking some rando in the fraternity house. Like, right, DBK? Like, this is so quintessential teenage mess.
Yeah, and this is like Felicity. This is Felicity, like just making like a random decision and like going with it. This is like very on brand with like how Felicity operates and like how she does things. She like decides something and then she goes all in, basically.
Oh my gosh,
it was so shocking. And then she's like, of course we get her stupid, I can't with Sally, I don't care about Sally. I mean, I guess we're hearing her thoughts, so it's fine. But she's like, oh, I can't believe I did that. Like she like looks at her. She looks at her shirt and she has like paint on it. I'm like, oh, girl got saucy in the art room.
Okay. Well, one thing. This is I get that you hate Sally. That's fine. But she's like talking to herself. Like,
that's why it's fine. It's just when she says, "Dear Sally," I'm like, no one gives a single shit about Sally, Felicity.
Because I don't know. I was like, as two women that do a podcast, I think it's so funny that you guys like have such a problem with her like talking to someone like on a thing.
That's the like you're talking to somebody that you barely know. I mean, true. Now that you say that, I think it's just so like funny. I mean, like, if you think about it as like a vessel for us to hear Felicity's inner thoughts, yeah, of course it's good. But we
Well,
don't know Sally. Like, maybe if we met Sally in episode 1, then I would care. But I don't know who this person is, and I'm not even sure she's real.
So you didn't recognize Sally's voice ever.
Janine Garoppolo's.
Yeah, no, but I
Island,
mean, like,
right?
but you didn't recognize that.
No, not at first. But like, I
Okay.
want to meet. I just want to see her. I want the context. What is she? The French tutor or something? Or did I make that up?
She's Felicity's. Like, I always assume. I just get confused because on the first episode she said they worked together, but I always assume she's like Felicity's French tutor, and she's like older than Felicity.
Yeah,
obviously.
Maybe
Right.
like they. Maybe
And
it
I
was
just think
one.
she meant by work together like she was my French tutor.
Oh
but-
yeah. Okay, so yeah, we hear that, well, at this point in time we don't know that they had sex, not until the big drop where she revealed it to Noel, but she does say, I woke up, I still smelled like turpentine and paint, and I like last night was such a whirlwind and everything like that. And the next thing we know, Noel comes knocking on the door and is saying like, hey, can we talk? And Felicity, she's like a little discombobulated. Like, her curly hair is like kind of a mess. She looks like she has
Relatable.
sex hair. And it's just, and at this point, Jess, like, were you like, did she have to like eject herself from this conversation, or like, do you stop down and like tell him now?
No, I think I'm just like Felicity. I think I'm so discombobulated. I want to hear what he's gonna say, right? Like, why is he even here? And he goes on and on about like, oh, I came here last night. You weren't here, but I just wanted to tell you is that like, it was such a mistake. I'm so sorry. There aren't words enough to explain it. I did the worst thing. It's over. The whole Hannah thing. It was the worst thing. And like, truly, like, okay, we're gonna get into a little bit of like Ross Rachel, we were on a break situation. I think like we're probably gonna have to litigate that. But like, I think if I'm Felicity, like, I don't want to hear this. Like, I feel like DBK, one of my biggest pet peeves with Noel as a character is how fucking wishy-washy this guy is. Like, pick a decision and stick to it. He constantly is like, tell me what you want me to do. Like, constantly. But like, bro, make a decision, stick to it. And he can't, even with the Felicity Hannah stuff. Like, if I'm Felicity, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear like, oopsies, guess I went back to my ex, and oh, by the way, I kissed her and we nearly had sex. And then I realized that, you know what? You know who I love? Felicity.
Okay. So we all agree last episode when he went off at the very end with Hannah, to all of us, they were broken up.
Yes.
Okay. Because I agree. I'm on that train. When he
Good.
left last episode, I thought they were broken up. So
Yeah.
anything like Felicity can do whatever she wants, and I mean we'll get into it more after. But so they broke up last episode. He's coming to her now. They're both single to me, even though they're gonna like go over all this episode. So and this is the other thing I want to litigate from last episode, because this is like the main point that like you guys are gonna like. You're gonna kill Noel because you hate Noel this episode. Noel has nothing to like stand on this episode. To be truthful, he can't say anything to Felicity. She didn't do anything wrong. She doesn't even really have to tell him. I don't think. I mean, common
with that.
Common courtesy would be she should tell him.
If
but
she's trying to work it out with him, yeah.
Well, but she doesn't have to. She was technically single, so like she doesn't have to tell Noel per se who she sleeps with. It's only because she's a virgin that it's like such a big deal, I guess.
Right. Well, because she wasn't having sex with Noel, and the whole thing was she wanted to wait, and so like that's the big deal in his mind.
So that's my real problem with last episode and the whole like conversation you guys had with Adam, is that like I don't feel like Noel per se is trying to have sex with Felicity. Like until that was brought up last episode in that conversation where it was like, where Felicity, I thought that was like really unfair of Felicity to say to Noel that like you
it's
want to have
because I
sex.
won't have sex. Yeah. I mean, it's fair. Like, that's fair because we haven't seen him pushing. Like, we haven't seen him, like,
Right.
bringing it up.
Well,
We haven't, you know, well, we
Like,
did and we do with this episode. Like, we
Right.
do later this episode for sure.
Right. But like, to my knowledge, to like how I viewed Noel as a character up until that point, up until that like conversation, I would never be like, Noel is trying to have sex with like Felicity.
Okay, that's fair because like we've never seen that. That was an assumption that I made based on like why.
Well, no, the show definitely, like, this episode to me is like Noel is trying to have was trying to have sex with Felicity because they have like a whole like conversation about it this episode. Like they fight it and I just feel like for me it kind of like comes out of nowhere. It's like a little bit because I feel like Felicity's really good for like planting seeds about like stuff that's gonna happen later on in episodes or later on in the show.
I feel like what it is like I was trying to think of like, why is Noel not satisfied in his relationship with Felicity? And why is he still thinking back to his relationship with Hannah? And I feel as though it could be like an intellectual connection that he's missing because it feels like he did have like an emotional, intellectual connection with Hannah. And it could be just like the nostalgia aspect, but I feel as though like it's definitely like a physical. Like one of the reasons why he broke it off with Hannah was because they were missing that physical aspect because they were living far apart from each other. They weren't intimate and they weren't like close. And I think that like to me it's important to have like a physical sexual connection. And I feel like maybe especially because Noel was coming from a relationship where they were intimate, going into a relationship with Felicity that seemed like it was like slower. I'm just trying to rack my brain like what was he missing in his connection and his relationship with Felicity? And that's kind of how I came to like the thought last week that like he wasn't having that with with Felicity, and that's why he wanted to be in a physical relationship with Hannah. But I don't know, like I'm not in his brain
at this point. I think he's just like confused. Like I don't know if there's like a real reason beyond it's like I have two women who love me and like oops, what do I do? You know, I think it's big that.
And then also Noel's supposed to be like a dork, so like this is supposed to be like something he's comfortable like
very good looking dork.
Handling.
And so he wants her to hear him out, but I like Felicity's strategy of being like, I have to go to the library, like I have to leave, and he offers to like come with her. And he's like, oh, you're probably like really mad and this is all my fault, but I need to talk about it. And she's like, I gotta go. And like, I don't blame her because first of all, even if she didn't sleep with someone else, like I feel like she needs time to herself to like think about this. And like having Noel blabber in your face for like 20 minutes probably isn't going to help that. So I like the move, right, Sarah? Like I've long said, like there is a maturity in like saying I need a second. Like I need a second to think. And maybe people could accuse her of running away, but honestly, this is Noel's problem to begin with. So she should do whatever she needs to do to be good with herself, you know?
Yeah, I think that's like an improvement for her because normally she just like does blurt everything out and probably speaks a little bit like foot and mouth, like out of turn a little. So yeah, like her saying like she's doing herself a service by trying to compile her thoughts before sharing it with Noel. And like Noel's gonna push because he wants to get his arguments out and like thoughts out that like I ultimately chose you over Hannah, which is just like I don't know, like I think like my thought is like if I don't know, like maybe like he just shouldn't have left last night. Like he needed to maybe not be with either women and compile his thoughts. I think like where he goes wrong in all of this is that like he left Felicity to be with Hannah, and that's why Felicity felt as though they were not together and sought out comfort from somebody else, which is not ideal, but once again it's like a very human thing to do.
Yeah. And I like this like girl talk that we get, DBK, where Julie joins Felicity in the library and she's like, oh, what happened? Like, is everything okay? Did you talk to Noel? And Felicity's like, oh, he didn't sleep with her. Like he told me he didn't. And Felicity's like, oh, or excuse me, Julie is like, oh, that's a great thing, right? And Felicity's like, oh, it's a little more complicated. But before she can get into it, Sean shows up. And I was a little taken aback by Julie's reaction to Sean, where she's just like, do you mind? We're in the middle of something. I don't have time to sell your fruit, Sean.
Yeah. She's not great to Sean sometimes.
Well, okay, maybe it's just me. And maybe it's because I love Sean. Because I really love Sean as a character. I find him so endearing and just so silly and funny and like very much comic relief on this show that like is a drama, right? Sometimes I feel a little bit of chemistry between Sean and Julie. And like, I don't know if they're planting seeds, like something's going to happen with that later. But like Sarah, right? We have like Sean defended Julie to Lynn and all of the frat bros. And like now they're spending time together. Obviously he asked this other librarian girl out on a date, but I'm vibing with what's going on with them.
I just think that you have zero respect for the librarian Chloe and Sean's relationship, which is so strong.
Cleo, according to the planner.
Really? I thought her name was Chloe.
No, it's Chloe, but when he gets the planner and he puts her name on it, he spells it wrong.
He spells it wrong?
Or the planner spells it wrong.
The planner, he didn't check.
Dumb whore.
Yeah.
Even though it's like in giant letters on the front.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so stupid.
Yeah. But poor Sean, he gets kicked to the curb because they're like, we're having a serious girl chat, okay? And then Noel is he's working on a mixtape, which we'll get into later because this fucking guy is so manipulative. I can't. But then comes Daryl, the other RA from a different floor, and he's like, it's time, my guy. Here's your supply of stuff. Get ready. And I was like, what is in this box? Like, I don't.
And did you catch? It was Noel's idea.
Yes, this is all Noel's idea. And let me tell you, if this is Noel's idea, maybe
great idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea. He should have fucking planned it better because the game's broken, which we'll talk about later. The game is broken.
Well, yeah, but everyone like plays it, so the games can't be like broken. I
don't understand how it got broken.
Because okay,
well,
here is why.
You could
it has to be
theoretically you could get your own name.
Exactly. Yeah. Theoretically, you could get your own name, and if you have one person's name and they have your name, you have to be the final two. There's no other way that should happen.
I know that. I understand that, but how did it get broken?
Because he just handed out a box with guns with names on them, willy-nilly.
Well, that's fine. It's just theoretically, like Jess said, what happens if Jess has your name and you have Jess' name? What happens when Jess shoots you and she gets her own name?
But then
she has to like go to Noel and be like, hey, maybe that happened with like a bunch of other people because like it's so many people on the floor.
You need to guarantee that no one's going to get their own name.
How do you guarantee?
You assign them. So you basically are like, okay, this gun goes to Sarah. It has DBK's name on it. This gun goes to DBK. It has Todd's name on it. Like you have to assign them. Instead, he's just like, here's a bunch of guns with a bunch of names. Hope you don't get yourself.
Am I stupid? Okay, so you're saying that in the beginning, one person got themselves, and that screwed up the entire thing.
No, but it could have happened. What did happen is that there were two different pairs that each had each other.
But how is that not possible anyway?
Because it's a chain. Because you'd start with if A has B, B has C, C has D, D has E. Like it goes in a chain.
But anyway. I just think he gave out the guns. I don't think the names were given out because Elena points out the game started 5 minutes ago when she's in Felicity's room.
Oh, but I thought the guns had like cards on them. Maybe not.
No, they were just like playing with the guns because Richard didn't pull his cap out.
Oh, okay. So let me just set up what Assassins is. If anyone's listening to this podcast and didn't watch the episode or doesn't understand Assassins, basically bunch of toy guns. Everybody is given a name, and that is your target. You are an assassin, and the name is your target, and you have to take them out. You have to shoot them with your toy gun. Once you shoot them, you take the name they have, and that is your new target. And on and on and on until there is only one person left who ends up winning the game. So that is the reason they're doing this, which also doesn't make sense to me, is to get to know each other better. And I'm like,
well, because they're letting randos into the building.
Right. That's why, because they're not being good dorm people.
Security risk. It's true.
No, it's very fair, but I also love how there's no introductions of anybody, so that when Megan does get Elena, she's like, "Who the fuck is Elena?"
That's so great. And I love this scene because we have there's a great shot of three like rando background characters. We got Richard, Guy, and Lewis all in like one shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Lewis is my question.
Pacifist.
Okay, let's just say Elena has Megan, correct?
Right.
Well,
she ends up getting Megan because Daryl had Megan.
Right. But Megan has Elena to start.
Okay,
that's why he's in the hallway.
Elena to start. Okay. And then
Felicity has Richard.
Sure. No, but I just want to like point this out. Okay, so like Megan has Elena. Fact. Elena has whomever.
That guy with the crazy hair.
Guy with the crazy hair. She shoots Guy and gets Megan.
No, she gets Daryl.
But what happens if she had Megan? Like, what happens if she got Megan?
Exactly. That's why the game is broken.
She gets Megan.
Because they're not the only two people. The game is over.
Game's not broken in the show.
I'm saying, like,
Jess is just saying theoretically the game could be broken.
Right.
I believe.
No, I understand that it's broken, but I'm saying, like, how do you make it not broken?
You make it not broken by making it a chain.
Jess doesn't know that it's not a chain. She's just saying she thinks it could be broken.
Yes.
So you're saying like it's not random who gets what name.
It shouldn't be. It needs to be a chain.
Okay,
yeah, you have to plan it.
Okay,
he didn't plan it because he's too busy fucking around with Hannah.
So it's not random. I guess that is the piece that I was missing. That,
like you could put it into a random generator, but like it still needs to be a chain. So I'm not saying like you'd be like Felicity has to have Elena. Felicity could have anyone as long as it's a chain.
Okay, so like the thing is that like this is not Secret Santa rules. It's not like we're putting the names in a bag and you pull out the bag. It has to. For the game to work correctly, there has to be like a person that plans this out.
Exactly.
So that
which
this
is supposed
doesn't
to be
happen.
Noel.
And what likely happened was that Noel put a bunch of names in a hat and people pulled out the names. Okay.
Yes.
This is okay. I understand. Like, I think that what I didn't realize was that it was not random, that it had to be planned out.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't understand how like that that is impossible if it's random. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's set up the players involved because, as DBK said, we have Lewis, who's a pacifist, and he is a conscientious objector, and he does not want to play.
And we
Richard,
don't know who he has.
Yeah. Richard calls him a wuss, as Richard would do, because he's Richard.
Who has Noel.
Yeah, who has Noel. And so then we get to hear from Elena. Or sorry, before that happens, Noel is like, "Oh, Felicity, can I talk to you? Like, oh, I don't want you to, I want you to forgive me," and blah, blah, blah. And he hands her his fucking mixed tape. This fucking mixtape. I would be so mad. Like,
that he finally finished.
I can't. I would
to
be
make
so
it even worse. It even says, "I don't take this as a bribe, but here's the mixtape that I finally finished you."
And I love how when she calls him out on this later, it is very manipulative. And so Elena, we hear from Elena, she's like, "I have to win," because the last time she played, she came in second place. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned this. Like, Sarah, did I think Elena was going to win last episode? Yes, DBK's nodding.
No, you were like, "I hope Elena's into this."
Oh yeah, and I knew because she's very competitive. So to me, it made a lot of sense that she would be. And Elena is my number one. She's my girl. I love Elena. Her competitiveness in this episode was literally everything I needed. Everything. She's the best. She's my favorite. That's it.
I thought that she was a little bit too much.
Of course you did.
I'm not gonna lie, like there is nothing that I care less about than a game that has no prize.
Of course.
Is just like the goal is just bragging rights or to win. I could not care less. And I think it's so annoying that everybody was so into this because I'm just like, get a fucking life.
DBK, what would your reaction be if, like, especially if you were their age, like if you're in college and this is a thing?
This is why I picked the episode.
Yeah, this is exactly.
I picked the episode. Like, this for me. If you just asked me, said, "What's the best episode of Felicity?" For me, I would say it like easy answer. I'll say Assassins. Like,
yeah. It's just so fun.
It's like my favorite episode because season 1 is probably my favorite season. I've been like thinking about the rankings of the season because it's like tricky, but yeah, no, I would totally be into Assassins, and like, yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah.
It seems fun, but like I just think that once you're in it, you just like this poor guy can't even go to the fucking bathroom in peace. It's ridiculous.
So you're not allowed to shoot someone that's not your target, right? Like he can't just shoot Elena. So that's his biggest problem.
Yeah, Elena, Guy is Elena's target, and
it's a problem.
She's just camping out, right? I mean,
yeah, she's camping out. That's part of the rules.
We learned the library. We know the library is out of bounds.
Yeah, it's a safe zone.
Safe zone. So he should gotta get to the library.
Yeah,
he should. You know what? She doesn't she have class? Like, get a life.
Hey, she's a grade 10 got her. It haunts her to this day, Sarah.
Yeah, she's very serious about this.
You gotta win this. I'm all in. You gotta win Assassin. Even Megan, who doesn't want to play, is playing. I love it.
And so Julie goes to Sean. She's at the apartment. I have to imagine they're getting close at this point just because like it seems like Ben is never around and Julie's always hanging out at their apartment. So she's always talking to Sean. And I appreciated that she did apologize. You know, she was like, I'm sorry I was rude to you. Like we were into some really heavy girl talk. And she finally finds out what Sean needed Julie's help with and why he was in the library. And he is really into this librarian girl, but he doesn't know her name. And so he's come up with this plan to ask her out. And it is like a multi-step plan. And DBK, this endeared me to Sean so much. Like I was like, this is so cute. It's wrong, but it's so cute.
This is Sean. Like he's a businessman. He's got plans. He's got ways he does things. He's making moves, right? Like he's got to do these first. I guess is reconnaissance. He's got to do reconnaissance with Julie first.
Yeah, Sarah. He wants his first impression to be powerful.
First impressions really mean everything. Yeah. I think that when you meet somebody, you can probably tell that there is some sort of chemistry or spark within the first like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I think that you can just tell. I mean, like, of course there's like the like enemies to lovers trope, but I definitely think that you can tell like when people get along really easily. So yeah, like a first impression definitely matters. And I mean, like, of course in an ideal world he can just go up and ask her, but I do like the fact that he wants to make it special. And I think that like if I heard that somebody had a like 10-step plan on how to win me over, I would definitely be into that.
Exactly. It's so endearing. But of course they get interrupted by freaking Lynn. Lynn and Ben come in and Lynn wants to like go to some band later. It's playing at 1 a.m. And Ben's being a little bit of a killjoy and like, oh, we have a 5 a.m. swim practice. And Lynn's like, come on, let's go. Let's have fun. DBK, talk to us about Lynn.
Okay, what's your beef with Lynn? Because Lynn, the only thing Lynn that because I went back and I watched because like I love Lynn because Lynn is Benvolio from Romeo and Juliet, and I'm like you guys, I'm a side character person. So like in that movie, I love Benvolio for some reason in Romeo and Juliet, and he's that guy. So whatever he does, I love. I guess he's in Ray Donovan too, but. The only bad thing that Lynn's done that you could be mad at is he took Julie's guitar and untuned it, even though Julie technically, as he was like already taking it, said, you can see my guitar. That's the only thing. Because the thing that makes me really mad about, because one of my hate Ben, when Nicole introduces Ben to Lynn, she says, this is my boyfriend, Lynn. And Ben has the audacity to say to Lynn's face, he goes, because this happens to me. So, like, I know this. He goes, yeah. Your name is Lynn? And then Lynn goes, yeah, my name's Lynn. Like, as he did the Strasser thing. And then Ben tries to cover up and says, yeah, that's a good name. Like,
Didn't
no,
say
bro.
That.
Yeah, that's what.
I remember because we condemned Ben for that because we were annoyed by it. Yeah,
because that's what I said in my voicemail for that one.
Yeah,
but it got lost to the internet.
Oh, yeah, sorry, the internet really played us.
So okay, actually, yeah. So DBK, what I had said, like I had listened to that, and I made the right read. I was like, you know what happened? Like Kelly gets this all the time. So like he's relating to Lynn in this moment.
Yeah.
So
that's my cousin. Read. Like anytime I have a count on something, people like, I don't know. They always are like Kelly, right?
And the thing is, Kelly is a man's name elsewhere. Like if this isn't like, you know, like just like Ashley is, like it's whatever.
It's fine. I'm fine. I have a girl's name. I'm okay with it.
No, but it's just like the other thing is making fun of somebody for their name is also really stupid when you think about it because their parents gave them that name. Mostly for the most part. Like if that's your name, most likely you were not the one who gave that to yourself.
Do I wanted beef with Lynn?
Here's the thing. I think the reason why Lynn annoyed me is one, because he I really didn't like the everyone has 3 things that they're good at.
Why?
It's better than everyone. I don't know. The way
he's got 4 now.
Now he has 4.
You can't be mad at 3. Because
the other thing was
I love that. Because he was he called Ben out. Because he was like, oh, I remember you from track. I thought you'd you like Ben still because he called him out for track. But he's like, I remember you. You went out for track and you didn't make it. And only person that knows that is Felicity, right?
Yeah, and I didn't like how he called him out like that in front of everybody. But the thing was,
it wasn't everybody. It was in front of his girlfriend, and it was in front of.
Wasn't it at the bar?
Yeah, it was at the bar in front of Julie. But technically Ben's, because I went back, right? Ben's first interaction with Lynn is that Lynn is being jovial Lynn, complaining about being up early for practice, about how no squad gets up this early. And then Ben, for whatever reason, because you would hate this, right, Jed? Ben's not on the swim team, intervening, goes, oh yeah, by the way, Lynn, in front of your girlfriend, crew gets up at 5 and does practice. Guy, you're wrong. Shut up, Ben.
Yeah. I think the thing is I really love Julie, and because Julie is not a big Lynn fan, I think I'm not a big Lynn fan. I think that's why. I think because I just love Julie.
That's fair. I'm not but because then he revs her up at the thing, because I was like, oh, she'll be happy because Lynn's little girl, big, gives Julie the props. Look at the Y2K guy back here doing stuff. You'll be fine.
But yeah, basically Lynn convinces Ben okay, we'll go see this band. Julie and Sean are out. They don't want to go. And I am in agreement with Lynn here. You're in college, bro. Go have fun. Go see a band. Yes, you have 5 a.m. practice, but if everybody on the team is going to go see this band and they're all going to be tired, then you're just one of the people. Otherwise you're missing out on those bonding moments. I think, you kind of want to be involved in those. Even though I don't want to go at 1 a.m. Then we get Felicity and Elena, and Felicity puts on the freaking mixtape. And again, this is why Elena is my queen. I love her so much. Felicity puts on the mixtape immediately, Sarah. She's a mushy bitch. She immediately gets sucked back in. She's like, oh, I love this song. And Elena is like, you better turn that off. Don't you dare let some mixtape let you go soft on Noel.
Yeah. I mean, music really does put me in certain different moods, so I can understand her being influenced a little. But yeah, having Elena ground her is perfect, and they have a lot of stuff to work out before she starts forgiving him.
Yeah, and I like this from Elena just because she recently went through the whole cheating thing, so I feel like she's a little bit, she can she can smack Felicity into shape. Come on, girl, wake up. Because she says, I love Felicity says, oh, I feel awful. He keeps apologizing. And Elena shakes her and is like, you feel awful. He's the one who was hanging out with someone else, which yes, Felicity did too. But Noel was the one who, what is it?
Had the choice. He was the one deciding something.
Yeah, he started it. And
he started it.
Well, no, he was the one that he had a choice. He was the
one who said, I'm gonna go hang out with someone else, which Felicity wouldn't have been hanging out with our guy Eli if not for Noel going to hang out with Hannah. So but the best part about this whole thing is that so Elena says, well, Richard is your target, go shoot him, get your mind off things. And I was like, yes, okay, we know who has Richard, right? This was DBK, you probably know, I was big on okay, I want to know who everyone has, what am I looking out for, so So Felicity has Richard has Noel. And I love Elena's strategy here, DBK, where there's a knock at the door and Elena's like, no, it could be someone trying to trick us. The game already started.
It's the fate. It's really good because Felicity has like the line where she's like talking. She's still talking to Elena. And she says like, "Oh, this isn't right or whatever." And then Elena's like, "Yeah, you're right. That's the fakest like disguised delivery guy voice or whatever." And then Megan strolls in, my favorite.
Elena just needs to let her have the fucking flowers. I'm sorry. It's just so annoying. But fine. So they get the flowers and yeah, Megan comes in. And yeah, this is so funny because like Megan has Elena but doesn't know who Elena is. And Elena is like, yeah, I've never heard of that person before in my life. Like,
and it's really funny because like you would think she would know Elena's name.
Yeah,
Elena's definitely been in that room at least before this.
I think Megan's just like really doesn't give a single fuck what Felicity is up to, unless it's spicy. Unless it's spicy, then Megan cares.
No, exactly. Like but that's what's so funny about it because like she's all in on the like right. She's always like, oh, the whole building knows everything about you, Felicity.
Yeah. So,
but did you guys know at this point who the flowers were from?
No, I thought they were from Noel. I really did.
Good.
They tricked me. They tricked me on the show because Felicity gets the flowers, sees there's a little card, and then immediately is like, "Oh, this is too much," and she immediately goes to Noel's room, and she's like, "Oh, I want to talk." And Noel immediately jumps into like, "I was wrong. I deserve punishment. Like, I really want to talk about this." And Felicity's like, "I need to tell you something." It's like, oh my God. Now that I know that it was like Eli that said the flower, it's like so cringy. It's like so awkward. And
it's so good though too, right?
But yeah, it's so good.
Just to be fair, this is what you want Noel to be doing though, from like last episode.
Apologizing, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, certainly he should apologize. And I will say like, it's nice that he wasn't like the one that sent the flowers. Like that's good. Like the mixtape was a little much, but he's not like burdening. He was in his room, you know what I mean? Like he wasn't approaching
I just wanted to, because like we'll get to it still later on, but I just want to make sure because like we're like, oh, Noel screwed, but I'm just saying like what should Noel be doing if like
he's doing the right things at this point. Beyond the mixtape I think was a little much, but But yeah, so Felicity comes in and she says like, listen, like, can you stop saying that it's going to be fine? Like she's overwhelmed, Sarah. She says it's too much, all the apologizing, all the tapes, all the flowers.
Yeah.
And Noel's like, I didn't send you flowers. And Noel takes the card and looks at it and sees Eli. And he's like, who is Eli?
Yeah. Oop. And I mean, Felicity once again doesn't have to give all the information, but she does. She's an honest one. And she says that she was with a guy the night before and they slept together. And this sends Noel in a spiral.
And then he leaves.
But in my opinion, how nice of Eli to send her flowers the morning after. What a nice guy. Such a romantic.
She must have, I mean, first of all, she was a virgin. So this was her first time having sex and she gets flowers the day after? Like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, that is a gentleman. I'm not going to lie. That would definitely be kind of like a thing, a little spark of my head of being like, oh, this is a guy that can treat a woman very nicely.
I agree. And I will say, like, to me, DBK, this reads as like Noel and Felicity are both two very anxious people, and that's why they can't keep secrets, because they're so overwhelmed and anxious about everything that they're just gonna like blurt out everything. So while I think this is the right move from Felicity, like if she wants to make it work with Noel, I do think the right thing is to be like honest about what happened, but also like he's not allowed to be mad. Like he's not allowed to be mad. Like you ended things. This is your fault.
100%. I agree with you. Like Felicity didn't do anything wrong. Like Noel, like technically he can't be mad at her. But like the show makes it ambiguous, I guess, that they weren't broken up, so I guess he has like maybe a little bit to be mad about. If they're not broken up, I guess he has like a little bit to be mad about, I guess, obviously, but I assume they were broken up when he left last episode, so like he has like no leg to stand on. He can't really say anything to Felicity. She, like, to me, she doesn't have to tell him anything.
Yeah.
But like the show is making like sex a big deal in this one, so it's just like
So do we think I guess like now could be a good time to be like, is like, we're saying that like Noel's not justified to be upset so much, but like I guess what Jess was mentioning earlier, like say that they were on a break a la Friends, Ross and Rachel, like did we think that who is in the wrong with the Ross and Rachel we were on the break?
Well, like the thing is, right, you guys should be on Noel's side this week, right? Because you guys were arguing it was a sex thing, right? Like the debate was like Noel wanted to have sex with Felicity, but Felicity, Noel was like, right? Like Felicity was like, I'm not ready to, like, that.
Oh, I thought it was more nostalgia, which is why Noel.
Well, I'm just saying, like, last episode, Felicity brought up like, oh, you want to be with Hannah because like you can have sex with Hannah. You can have sex with Hannah, and you guys were kind of like, yeah, that's why. I think
it's a contributing factor.
Right? So technically, Noel didn't have sex with Hannah, like stopped himself from having sex with Hannah, and then Felicity went off and had sex. So like if the argument is like he didn't, like, technically he didn't want to have sex with Hannah. He wanted to, like, shouldn't you be on like Noel's side, like argue, like when Noel says at the end, like, oh, like I waited and you like
no, I'm not on Noel's side still, because I mean
I agree you shouldn't be, but I'm like kind of like he was in a no-win situation, right? Like,
no, he was in a no-win situation from the moment that he was wishy-washy about who he wanted to be with.
Yeah, he should have dropped the tape off and bounce. That's where he screwed up. He should have gave that tape and been like, I can't help you, Hannah. See you.
Yeah.
But he stayed, and then
because for all Felicity knew, he was having sex with Hannah. Like that's in her mind that's
and once again they broke up last episode. Yeah. Even though they're trying to tell me this episode they haven't broken up yet, they were broken up.
Yeah, and to Sarah's question, so about the friend stuff, because this is a very similar situation. I think that there is a difference, and the reason is because Noel, it wasn't like in the friend situation, Rachel is overwhelmed with her new job and Ross is being a lot. And so she says, maybe we need a break. And he's like, oh, let's go get some frozen yogurt. And she says, no, like a break up. And he leaves and he goes and sleeps with someone. And then tries to get back together with her, tries to hide it from her, doesn't tell her. Then she finds out. In this situation, Noel is like, oh, I want to go be with my ex. So like, I think the situations are different enough where like, yes, Rachel can be angry with Ross because like she can be hurt and her feelings, they were broken up. Yes, but she can still be hurt. I don't think that she could be. I think the reason she can be angry with Ross is because he lied, not because he slept with someone. He didn't cheat, but he also did lie. And I think the difference is that like Noel didn't cheat either, but then he can't be mad at Felicity when he was about to sleep with Hannah and she slept with someone. Then you can't be mad at her for sleeping with someone. But he can be hurt, but he can't be mad.
But why does Ross, like, outside of like health reasons, like why does Ross have to share his sexual partners with Rachel?
If he wants to get back together with her, I think he needs to be honest about what happened the night before, because he's doing his best to hide it from her, which is the worst thing you could do.
Like, yeah, it's the thing, but I'm just saying, to me, they're the same situation.
I think it's different because there's not the copy girl. He was someone he had a relationship with, and he was breaking up with Felicity to go be with her, versus Rachel ended things with Ross, not the other way around.
True. So they're both on a break. So
no, they're both on a break.
They're on a break.
Well, I would say once again, Felicity and Noel weren't on a break. They broke up. I would say technically.
Yes.
I think that if you're on a break, it's like at that point you're on a break, so you have full reign to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But it hurts. Like you have to realize that the there's like repercussions to your actions. Like, yes, like you are allowed to do whoever you want, literally, but that doesn't mean that the other person's going to be very happy that you that night hooked up with somebody else. Like, you know, it's not like you're in the wrong, but also that doesn't mean that like you're in the clear if you try to get back together with them. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I do know. I don't like, I mean, like,
it's tricky.
Like, of course it's tricky. And like, you know, we're humans and our egos get very hurt. I would be hurt if somebody, like, I mean, like, if I understand why like Noel is upset, because like he feels like he did the right thing by not hooking up with Hannah, and then little does he know, like, she went and just sleep with somebody else. Like, I understand, but that doesn't mean that like he's once again in the right.
Yeah, I think where I stand is like he can be hurt and upset, but I don't think he's justified to be angry at Felicity, I think is where I stand. Like, all of your feelings are valid of like, yes, that sucks that like she slept with someone else, but also like you ended things with her. You can't be mad that she then went and slept with someone.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he could be like, yeah, like, I'm really hurt that you did that. Like, I understand that, like, I played a part in why you made that decision, but it really hurts. And like, especially because like you said that you were waiting for some like the right time and with somebody special, and then you turn around and like do it with some rando. Like, that's hurtful. Like, yeah, like he can be upset, but like when he gets angry, then that's like where it crosses like and violent or pushy.
It's tricky. I just think like as the other person, I feel like you can be like all those things. I just feel like you can't voice it. Like, you can voice it, but like you don't have anything to stand on. Like, you can say all you want, but the person could be like, bro, we were broken up. Like, we were on a break.
We were broken, and you turned around and you went with the other woman. And yes, like you might have stopped it before it got to a certain part, but I didn't know that. Felicity was under the assumption.
That's all you gotta say is like,
Felicity was under the assumption that they were like, you know, together, and it was over, and they were together and having sex, and like she was alone and vulnerable. So
so Noel can't even concentrate in class. He has to leave because he says he's in the middle of a complete emotional turmoil, which I thought was very funny.
I mean, me every day, but you gotta stay in class.
Felicity goes to visit art guy Eli, and she's like, "Oh, I got the flowers. Like, thank you." But she basically says, like, "Listen, like, last night shouldn't have happened. There's a guy in my life." And Eli knows, and he says, "Oh, you were going through a rough spot in your relationship and I was a break." Like, I felt so bad because Eli's like, "Yeah, you just wanted to feel better. Like, people do stuff like that all the time." And to your point, DBK, Felicity is used to being like this loser. Like, she's not used to being the one with the power. She's not used to being the one who like breaks people's hearts, you know? And so I don't think she realized that like Eli actually seems to like have feelings for her. And so like to know that he was like the rebound, if you will, it hurts him.
Well, he like totally like lets her off the hook, right? Like,
because
he gives her like the look after, like he's just like, oh, you know, like it, like, but he like for me, he doesn't believe what he's saying.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I viewed it as like
I don't know. He gives like the look after for me where he's like, oh man, like that sucks.
Oh, no. Okay, no. We're on the same page. Never mind. I misunderstood what you were saying. Yes, he does. Like he's giving her an out.
He lets her off the hook. Like he's just like, oh, it's cool. Like I'm not going to make you feel bad about this. Like he could be like, yo, like you're a jerk. Like, you know, he's just like, oh no, it's cool. Like, yeah, like it happened. Like Dirt Nasty's a super cool guy, right? So like,
so do you both think that like he like, okay, because like, do you think that he does have feelings for her?
Yes.
Or do you?
Oh yeah, 100%.
See all those drawings of her? People don't do that if people they don't like.
I mean,
he's like an artist, but I think if Felicity doesn't come to the art studio and say like, yo, stuff's going down with Noel, they could totally be like a 3-story arc like Blair.
Yeah, I think that, like, yeah, he sent her flowers. He's
Okay.
letting
Yeah,
her
yeah,
off the
yeah,
hook.
yeah.
Like, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
he
yeah.
honestly really likes her. And I think this is so tricky for Felicity because she's just like, I didn't realize that, like, I was gonna hurt him. Like, I'm not used to this. And she felt so bad. Like, she now has this like shame of, and I think, Sarah, this was like a very big thing. I mean, it might still be a big thing now, but I feel like it was even bigger in the 2000s and stuff, like especially when we were like coming of age, of like your first time needs to be special. It needs to be with someone you love. It like needs to be this and that. And Felicity is like feeling so shameful about it being with someone she barely knows.
Yeah, I feel bad that she's putting a lot of pressure on herself for it not being with somebody super special, but I also think that like she was right there with Noel, who was like her first boyfriend. Like I do think that I think that if she wasn't involved with anybody, then like she shouldn't be beating herself up with it not being super special. But like I do think that like it could have been a much more special night if she was with Noel or Ben. But I mean, in general, I don't think it's something to be shameful about. Like, I don't think it has to be like the most perfect person, but I think like the circumstance, like, you know, she says later on with Julie, like, it wasn't the fact that it was Eli, it was the fact that it happened at all. Like, the situation, I think she's going to look back on in like 10 years and be like, gosh, like that situation was like so messy. Like, the series of events of like, I got into a fight with my boyfriend. He was trying to be with somebody else. I felt a certain type of way. So I went into the arms of like someone that like I barely knew. Like, I think that she's going to look back and feel like a little ick about the situation. But if Noel wasn't a factor and like she just hooked up with like some random art guy that she found hot, then I would be like, go forth and fuck, like have a great life, like enjoy yourself with the rando art guy Eli, and then don't feel bad that like you lost your virginity to like hot art guy Eli in the art studio. You know what I mean? Like I think that like I don't think like she did something wrong, but like I can see just feeling like a little ick about the whole situation. Like I like understand that she's feeling some certain way about all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's judging herself.
I get it, but like I mean, it was a good night. She had like a good time. It wasn't bad. She enjoyed she liked it. I feel like she's being like a little revisionist because of like the whole Knowles of it all. Like I don't think
For sure, yeah.
I don't per se think she's gonna like look back and be like, I see Sarah's point, but I'd also like don't in a way.
I think as she gets older, she'll judge herself less for it. I think over time
I don't think she should like really like I get you could I don't view it as like running into Eli's arms, I guess, as much as like
Yeah, maybe not. But like
Yeah.
I mean, this is like kind of something on a smaller scale, but like I like for my senior prom, like I said, it's a smaller scale, but like I always like used to think because like I met like my ex who I was with like for a very long time, like a week after I asked this other guy to prom, and I always looked back and was like, oh, it would have been like really nice if I went to prom with like my then fiance or long-term boyfriend. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would have been nice. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I was like upset about it, but I was just like, it just like would have been nice. It would have been nice if I lost my virginity to Noel. You know what I mean? Versus our guy Eli.
Yeah.
So
especially because it's again with the everyone saying I should be someone you love, someone that blah 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 blah. Like I feel like she feels guilty about that.
and everyone
But
can relate to like first time supposed to be a big deal, right?
exactly. So then we get Julie and Sean. Again, my favorite little side caper. Julie and Sean at the library. They're planning on how he's gonna make this move because again, he doesn't even know the librarian's name, but he wrote her a letter. And so Julie takes it and reads it. And one of my favorite small details is Sean mouthing the words while Julie's reading it because he knows every single line by heart. It was so funny. And she starts reading it. And she's like, you cannot give this to her. It basically says like, dear librarian, let me begin by introducing myself. My name is Sean Bloomberg. You may remember me as the successful and attractive young entrepreneur.
Gotta sell yourself.
Where's the lies?
I love this so much. And Julie, she is one smart freaking cookie. She walks up to the librarian and she says, excuse me, does your name happen to be Vivian? And Chloe says, no, I'm Chloe. And I'm like, Julie, what a genius way to figure out her name.
That was pretty smart. I was pretty impressed by that.
I loved this. So now Sean knows her name is Chloe and he writes it down. And Julie, DBK, I love this. Julie is such a wing woman. She's like, go on, do it. Ask her out. Come on, she's cute. You can do it.
Yeah. Well, she's such a wing woman because she's hanging out with guys.
Yeah. She's like, this is her move, Come on, you could do it. But Sean is like, no, I have to implement stage 2.
Like, reconnaissance is over. Stage 2 begins. Thanks, Julie. I'm out of here.
What's stage 2?
The planner.
Oh, the planner.
He's got to bring something to the table. So a day planner, of course.
Yeah. Wait. Which I will say, I think there's a way to make the day planner work, but we'll get there. Because then we get Elena, who's camping outside of Guy's door, and she is ready. If Guy even sticks his head out, she's gonna get him. And he's all pissed off. You can't ambush your target. This isn't fair. And she says, your ass is mine.
Do you remember Guy, Sarah, at all or no?
Guy.
Yeah. He's appeared one other time, I believe.
Did he cause the fire?
Well, he was in the room for the fire, so I'll give you points. That's good. He's the guy. He's in the room with Noel. He's like, no, I believe he's like a graphic design guy because he's going to show up a little bit more later. But he was the guy that was like, only time I ever did push-up or sit-ups was for a girl. How pathetic. And Noel is there doing sit-ups. And then the fire gets caused, but the fire's another guy.
There's a lot of guys.
Well, this is like the community of like Felicity of it all for me.
Yeah,
is like these people like some of them like Daryl re-showed up this episode. There's
because he was the other RA.
He's the RA on the floor above or below Noel, right?
Yeah.
Because I have like it always confuses me as the floor layout of Noel's floor. Well, we can talk about it after the episode.
Did you ever?
I have a lot of stuff.
Did you ever dorm?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's like another one of my beefs is like, do you got like, what do you think a guy's like a RA's job is? Because like, you guys
it's ridiculous. Like, yeah.
Well, but
vending
like,
machine
you guys are
buying and.
Well, no, like, but like the whole like, that's ridiculous. But like when you're like the one girl like coming to Noel and just like that's an RA's job is like putting up with your stupid people on their floor coming to you and like complaining about stuff. Like,
yeah, it's like drama, like roommate drama.
You're basically a therapist.
I lived with my RA. We lived there was 5 other guys in my floor. It was like we lived in there was like buildings, 4 buildings, 6 to a room, 4 on a floor, 4 floors high.
Wow.
McFarlane.
So Felicity drops off a note for Noel. And then at Dean and DeLuca, Lynn comes in and he's like, listen, we're going out tonight. And Ben, I did make note of this. As soon as Lynn comes in, Ben takes off his mandatory hat because he's not cool guy Ben. Can't possibly wear a hat, even though Lynn is wearing the most ridiculous hat ever.
Well, because Lynn's a hat guy, man.
He's a bucket hat guy. Yeah,
we love Lynn. Yeah, Ben is the worst, but I will say Ben is probably like the funniest on the show. I will give like props.
He is pretty funny.
Ben has some of like for me. Ben has some of the funny. Ben has the funniest like line that I like say to this day, and I hate Ben on this show. So.
But Lynn is like trying to convince Ben, like, come on, we gotta go out. Let's go. You're coming out tonight. And I mean, we've all been there. Like, we all have had the friend like Lynn who's like, let's go out. And you're like, I'm tired.
Lynn's just a good time. Lynn's always like happy.
Guy. Yeah. So he convinces Ben. They're gonna go out tonight. And then Noel gets back to his dorm. He sees the letter from Felicity, sets it down. He looks like super depressed. And what is the worst possible thing that could happen when Noel is depressed is Richard comes in.
Richard's just there to make everything better.
I mean,
no,
not usually. That's not usually Richard's MO. He like has a question. He says, I have a question about the game. And I mean, I felt like I knew immediately that Richard had Noel because he was being so freaking suspicious. Oh my god.
At this point, I literally, if I would just be like, shoot me, please. Put me, just like Noel.
Well, that's what Noel does, yeah.
Put me out of my misery, like, for goodness sake. But Richard takes pity on Noel because he can tell that Noel is a depresso. And he asks Noel what's going on. And Noel tells him the truth. Which gets like Richard on. Now Richard's like crossed over and is like, actually, I'm on Noel's side.
Richards is incredible because as soon as he finds out that like Noel is all depressed and like it's because of Felicity, it's like so funny to me, DBK, that he immediately is like, oh man, like that's rough. Like that is tough stuff. And he's trying to like relate. He's talking about like this summer camp experience that he had.
A minnow, man, a freaking minnow, a guy in floaties, Can you believe it?
It's just so funny. He's like, there's another guy in the picture. I've been there.
Yeah. And then that it's so good because then he's like, I had to go check him out. And then he's like, he's like human nature, but that would be the worst idea ever, Noel. And then cut to Noel the very next scene. And it's like, Noel, what are you doing? Why are you listening to, like, I love Richard, but why are you listening to Richard? But Richard said it was a bad idea, to be fair.
Yeah, this is so funny to me. Of course, Noel hears something that someone says, this is a horrible, terrible idea that no one should do. And he's like, I'm going to do that thing.
Human nature, though. We do all want to go check it out.
Of course we want to. I think, okay, and here's the thing, Sarah, this is my argument. I think it's okay to want to like sneak a peek. I don't think you interact with the person. I think that's where you have to draw the line.
Well, okay, so like this is where we're very lucky is that these days we like stalk the social media. Like you go check them out on Insta or Twitter or Facebook. You know, we don't have to go into the art studio and talk to them. But no, like this is so bad. It's so bad. Like, but of course you want to, but you have to resist, you know? It's like, but like how can you not? Like when you're like, this is like when your ex is dating somebody new, it's like how can you not spy? It's so, I don't know. It's just like a glutton for punishment.
You have to resist. You have to resist.
Well, that's
DBK, what would you do? Would you go spying? Would you go snooping?
You just gotta cut ties. You gotta forget they ever existed.
Yeah, you have to
but
block
like Noel's
them.
never gonna do that with Felicity because Ben was right about him last episode.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that you can do. It's like it's like sometimes you get blocked to stop yourself from being a creepy stalker, not because like anything that they did. Like that's what I have to do. It's like I have to block you so that I'm not spying on you.
That's very fair. Yeah. And then Noel, I think, also makes another mistake where he goes to Felicity's room and he starts like interrogating her about Eli. How did you meet him? Was it here? Was it in the class? Was it in class? And Felicity is just like apologizing. She says, oh, I met him in the art studio. And Noel, fucking asshole. Oh, he's an artist? That's romantic. You know what? Fuck you, Noel. It's your fucking fault.
It is. It is your fault. I just wait, and then he smashes the 8-ball, which you hated as well. I know.
Yeah, I did. I thought that was like very aggressive and rude. And Noel, go ahead.
But we're all for punching people in the face, Jess.
I do love when people get punched. I can't help it. But it's a little different when he's being aggressive around Felicity.
It's like not. This. It's not. You can't. Come on. I agree. Blair should have been punched, but like, yeah, I knew as soon as Noel did this, I was like, oh, Jess is gonna hate that.
No. I especially don't like it too when he says, "Were you drunk? Tell me you were drunk."
Like, oh yeah, Noel's just grasping at straws. Like he's just Noel's trying to make himself feel better.
Yeah,
like he doesn't like no. There's nothing Felicity could say that's gonna make him feel better, but Noel's just
he's making it worse for
this
himself.
episode.
Like getting more information, you know? And Sarah, what I loved though is when like, cause Noel has the audacity to be like, oh, were you even safe? And she's like, of course we were safe. And I loved Felicity. Again, I'm very much coming around on Felicity, especially because I find that the more that she stands up for herself, the more that I'm like, yes, Felicity, yes. And so she says, like, this isn't one-sided. You were with Hannah. Like, and I love that she said that.
But again, if the argument is like the sex thing, like,
well, you were with Hannah, I think is
no, I agree. Once again, Noel loses. Noel did everything wrong. But I'm just saying, if the argument is sex, then I feel like it gets really clouded, because then I feel like Noel's kind of right.
But here, I don't know. I really, really hated it, Sarah, when Noel said 2 months ago you said you wouldn't have sex because you wanted it to mean something and because you weren't ready. Like, I don't like what he's insinuating. Like, it feels gross, you know?
Yeah, but once again, like, if you were in that position,
he's allowed to have those feelings, right? Those are valid.
Yeah.
Those are
just
valid
don't voice
feelings.
them to her because you're a dick.
But but again, like, right, you guys are saying like he should voice these opinions, like he should communicate this is what he's feeling. It's not it's not right, but like he has to communicate that. Like she said, like, I'm not ready with you. No, I want to. And then it's like, yeah, you just had sex with some dude like you don't even know.
I think like the thing is that not one person is right in the situation and not one person is wrong in the situation. I think that it's very fluid because like I think that like Noel is justified to feel hurt that like after 3-4 months of him saying or her saying that like she's not ready to have sex and then has sex with like a rando, like even though that's Felicity's prerogative, like he can feel hurt about it. And also Felicity felt like that was something that like, I mean, like Felicity is hurt because like he literally left like her to be with Hannah that night and said that he still loved Hannah. So like, and ultimately I kind of like where this whole thing winds up, and it's just like, you know what, like you hurt me, and then the other one is like, well, you hurt me, and I don't think that either of us can get past it at this moment. And I think that that's ultimately like that's what it is. They hurt each other. They're both hurt. They both hurt the other person. And I don't think that like at this moment there's coming back from this. Like there needs to be healing involved. And I think ultimately I really like how realistic and like mature that they ended up being, because like they could have gone back together and then just been toxic, resentful fucks. But instead they're like, yeah, like we can't do this right now because there's no coming back from this. Because the more that they're in this relationship at this time, the more fuckery that is going to happen. And then it's just going to become a whole disaster. And then if you don't talk about it, then you're there 16 years later being resentful of one another and mad at one another for old shit that happened 10 years prior. So they should be talking about all this stuff now. If they want to work out, they need to be talking about all this shit now. But I also don't think that they are able to work out at this moment. I think that they need like a break from one another, a breakup to be specific.
Yeah, because I liked how Felicity is like not letting Noel get away. Like, because she does feel guilty, right? Like to your point, Sarah, they did things that hurt the other person, regardless of whose side we're on and who was right and who was wrong. They both took actions that hurt the other one. And so like, I love that she does not let him guilt her with the like, you slept with someone else. And she's like, I thought we were breaking up. You broke up with me. I thought you were with Hannah. Like, I could barely breathe. Like, she's so upset. And she's just like, I don't know what else to say. And she apologizes, which is again, like, more than she even needs to do, in my opinion. But she does. She apologizes for
she
like,
could say sorry for the things that she did that hurt him. That's okay.
No. She's totally within her right. I'm just saying, like, I don't know that I would be like, I'd be like, we were broken up and I fucked someone and it's your fault because we broke up because you broke up with me. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know that would be but again, Felicity and I are not the same. But yeah.
for me, like I'm on Felicity's side for this. My thing is just the way that the show is like framing this whole debate, because I feel like Noel has no leg to stand on. In my like take of the situation, I say Noel has like he can't say anything for me. Like you like, but the way the show frames it, I feel like Noel has a bit of an argument.
I agree with you completely. I think the show wants us to be like, oh, who's right and who's wrong? They're both kind of wrong. I think you're right. The way they're framing it, at least.
For me.
So then we get the Elena trapping Guy moment. She says, okay, you could go to the bathroom. It's fine. He walks out. As soon as his back is to her, she shoots him, takes his envelope, and leaves.
And then Guy's like, this girl cheats. And Noel's like, everybody cheats.
Yeah. That was so funny.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. And then we get Julie and Felicity talking, where Felicity tells Julie what happened. And she says, and gosh, this was hard because I was not expecting Julie to bring up the like assault situation. Like, I was not expecting her to bring that back up. And she's like, oh, I get it. Like this really horrible feeling that like you wish you hadn't done something that you had, like you were used or he didn't care. And I like that Felicity's like, no, it wasn't that. Like he was really sweet. Like it's not that. It's just that it shouldn't have happened at all. Like,
yeah, and she's just mad at the situation.
Yeah. And it's like, it is, I totally get where she's coming from, where in her mind, she's like, Noel and I were literally just together. We were talking about spring break. Like we had all these plans and now it's over. Like, what is happening?
Well, she had like a vision of what her life was going to be in the next year. And, you know, by the consequences of her own actions and Noel's, it all broke apart within a matter of a few weeks. Like they were established, like they spent a lot of time together. They like took naps together. They studied together. They like had like, and then, I mean, I feel like that's how breakups are. Like you build a life with somebody and then it ends. And then like the life that you expected to have is disintegrated. And then you're left to pick up the pieces. And it's very sad.
Yeah. And this was one of my favorite moments, DBK, because Richard comes in and he's like, I heard what you did to Noel. You're dirty. And Felicity just whips out her gun and shoots Richard right in the fucking face. And I was right in the eye. And I was like, you fucking deserve that, Richard. You're a dick, just like your name implies.
Well, Richard loves Noel. You haven't picked this up yet?
He hates him and he
that's why he's his enemy. Like
it's frenemies.
Frenemies. Such a thorn in his side. Richard like really loves Noel. It's great. Yeah, no, it's great.
I love their love.
And I really love like Felicity's undershirt that she's wearing in this scene.
Oh yeah, it is. It's like
I don't know what it is. I call it like the pineapple shirt because I can't make out what the design is.
Yeah, it's a pattern. It's like it has.
She's wore it like I think before one or two because I'll bring that up.
What's the timestamp? It's
the
28
Julie
minutes in.
Yeah, the Julie conversation. Because Felicity, how are you liking Felicity's sweaters, guys? She wears a lot of sweaters.
Grandma's chic.
Yeah, kind of grandma chic.
No, I like the turtlenecks.
Well, I have for after we're done the episode about her fashion. We'll see if you're intrigued.
Okay. So Felicity's upset. She shoots Richard in the eye as he deserves. And of course, now that means she gets his card. And of course, he had Noel, which is unfortunate for Felicity. Noel,
okay, so wait, is this the point where she should have traded with Julie?
Who does Julie have? Can someone
we never know.
Oh, okay.
But Julie's playing. You're not allowed to trade. She's on the floor. Yeah,
are you really not allowed to trade?
I mean, you're not supposed to trade because that ruins the chain, Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh,
see, this is the thing. Like, I would fuck the game up. That's the thing.
Well, it's not that the game is like. It's just like Jess is saying. In theory, if you don't plan it out, you could run into people getting.
Yeah, you run into issues.
I mean, maybe that's what happened. Like maybe people were trading and that's how the chain broke. Like maybe Noel
didn't play in the chain.
No, maybe he did. Like maybe
he's going through emotional turmoil.
Yeah,
he didn't have
emotional
plans
turmoil.
to time the game.
He did it right, and people were trading, and it kind of just messed up the chain.
We technically don't know if Noel screwed up the game. Jess is just saying this.
Yeah, because Jess doesn't have any faith in Noel.
No, I don't.
She hates Noel.
Yes,
you hate
Noel. She's Team Ben, the terrible team.
Yeah.
So Noel, speaking of, goes to the art studio and he asks about Eli, and he's like being a creep and just hovering and like looking at all his work. And then he sees drawings of Felicity and he asks, "Oh, who is this?" And Eli says, "Just some girl." And he goes, "Yeah, that's what I thought."
I loved this.
Because what's Eli supposed to say?
Some girl,
like some girl I fucked last night. Yeah,
some girl that
also for timestamp. Did you like bargain budget Xander? The first guy that walks when Noel walks in.
Oh, let me look.
This guy looks like a low rent Xander to me, and I know how much you guys love Xander.
Do you even Buffy? Do you Buffy?
Yeah, I watched it. It's not like a love, but yeah, I'm a Willow. I'm not like I'm like whatever about Xander. But for all the Xander Buffy fans out there, Pacey once looked at Joey in a mirror and just did not have that reaction. Just so you guys know.
That's fair. But Xander's
they were like, Pacey's a dirty pervert. I tell you guys that for sure. That was not the reaction when Pacey watched Joey change in a mirror.
I feel like I at least said he was a pervert, but I was definitely more forgiving of him.
We're so biased. It's disgusting.
You guys didn't barely even notice, I think. I didn't go back and check. I wanted to, but I was like, nah.
DBK is our official fact checker.
It's okay.
Oh, we were looking for one.
All the receipts.
My kill shot for you, Jess, is coming in season 2.
Oh, I can't wait.
Because I already know a guy is going to say something to Julie that's going to upset you so much.
Oh, I love being angry at characters. I can't wait.
And I'm going to say you've said it about Julie like 100 times.
Okay. I look forward to it. So Noel
not
stomps
100 times, but you've done it. But go on. Sorry.
Noel stomps out like a little baby that he is, and Eli knows who Noel is. Like he knows immediately when that happens. He's like, oh, you're that guy. Okay. Meanwhile, we get more Julie and Sean content, which is just the best. And he says stage 2. He has stage 2 right here. He bought her a planner. And now here's the thing. Because Sean says it's an incentive. It's the free watch you get from a magazine subscription. First of all, obviously, big problem is that Sean didn't spell Chloe's name correctly. But here's where I think you could turn this into a win. Here's where I think you can make this cute. I think what you do is you pencil in like next Friday night date with Sean or something. And you give her the planner as a gift and you say, "Oh, look, it looks like you already have something booked on your planner. A date with me." Like, I think you can make it cute.
Oh, that is kind of cute.
Thank you. I know. DBK doesn't look DBK.
Well, no, but no, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, but you did catch that she like didn't have a day planner, right?
Yeah, it does. Okay. It's it would have worked out regardless, but I do think that's like a cuter way to do it than to just be like, "I got you a day planner."
Hey kids, back in the day, this is how you had to date too as well. You had to like walk up to people and like introduce yourself and be like, "Hey, do you want to maybe go on a date?"
I wish.
Sarah, what would your reaction be if someone gave you a date planner to ask you out?
Well, Jessica, you love a planner. I love a planner. I have one calendar over there. I got a calendar over here. I got a calendar over here. I got all the calendars, multiple calendars. There's not one calendar I don't have. If somebody got me a calendar, I would be very happy. There's a calendar on the fridge. So yeah, that's like a great gift.
I feel like it makes sense for a librarian, right? Like librarians you'd think would like a planner, I guess. We'll have to ask our friend Todd. I don't know.
Oh, and of course I use the Google Cal. GooCag.
I love Google Cal. I'm very an electronic calendar girly.
Yeah, mine's color coded, has a bunch of different colors. It's beautiful.
Also, while we're talking librarians, I have to give a quick shout out to our friend Emily, who is also a librarian, who is currently catching up on Felicity. So whenever you get here, Emily, please let us know. And she's never seen it, and I feel like it's a flashback to us months ago, Sarah, when we first watched Felicity.
Hopefully you're on Team Felicity, Emily.
We'll see. Right now she's in the Felicity is stalking Ben phase, so I don't think she's very much Team Felicity yet.
Yeah, apparently I'm the only one that was on from day one, because I asked my friend that like I made watch, and she was like, I didn't like Felicity at first either. So maybe I'm just in the minority.
What makes you like Felicity when she's in her creepy stalker Ben phase?
Felicity's like, I think Felicity's an amazing friend. Felicity has a great heart. Felicity, yes, she's stalking Ben, but like I just read it as she's a crush. Yeah, she changed her college plans for Ben, I guess, but like that's not why she's at NYU now at the beginning of the show. I just I love Felicity as a character. I think Felicity is amazing. Like I just think she's a great person like on the show. Like I think yes, she makes terrible like crazy decisions, but that's like for the TV show. Mm-hmm. I look at like Felicity as Felicity, amazing heart, but she doesn't have like street smarts.
Yeah, I'm definitely coming around to her. Like I said, I think it was a few episodes ago where I was like, okay, now I'm here. Now I'm at the point where I actually really like Felicity. And you know what? One of the best things about these types of teen dramas is there's always someone you're rooting for and rooting against. And like, I love that about this show.
Yeah. Hey, is it possible that every time I do something bad or stupid, I can just say I was just doing it for the TV show? Is this like a workaround, like a life hack?
Please do that. Yes,
I didn't know about.
The best Boondock Saints ever was.
That's what people say, like right, like I did it for the story. I did it for the story.
And then I thought to myself, what if this was a TV show?
Yeah.
Perfect. I finally think that I'm in on something.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing I think Felicity's done so far is rewrite Ben's paper.
Yes.
And I don't even like falter for that because Ben's an idiot. And Felicity,
he would have gotten a B though, TBK.
Wow, one time in life Ben would have got a B. Ben only got a B because the professor felt bad for him.
How did he get into NYU? Was it just
because he lied? Because Ben's a liar. Yeah. He got into NYU because he lied. Like Felicity's like smart. And to go back, Felicity had like the class with the professor. That's like her one science class that they had before.
Right.
Because Sarah didn't remember. She's like, she's only had English class. I was like, no, she had that one class with the professor that she sucked up with that hated her.
Oh yeah, that was true. So where's he?
I don't know. She's still taking class with him.
But we don't go to class anymore. It doesn't matter. We're too concentrated on the drama.
I just think Felicity got away with herself because she's like so smart. Because like the problem with Felicity rewriting a paper for Ben is like she's gonna get him too good of a grade.
It's true. Yeah, it's obvious it's not him. So Noel, meanwhile, is at the bar that Lynn works at, and he's just like, I love Lynn being like, oh, Ben's gonna come over here, and Noel's like, oh, that's good. Yeah, I forgot about Ben, but thanks for reminding me. And he's just doing the sad boy drinking, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You getting wasted. And Lynn's like, are you gonna do the thing from the movies where you get wasted at the bar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gonna give you running commentary? Nope. Go home to your girlfriend, Noel.
Oh yeah, my girlfriend. Wow.
Yeah.
We get this really funny scene where Megan, Max, and Lewis are all. Is that everybody that's in the hallway? Yeah.
Megan, Daryl, and Lewis.
Oh, sorry, Max. Why? I'm looking at a transcript and it says Max, and I don't know who the hell Max is.
Don't worry, I'm here, guys.
I was gonna say, I don't think it's a Max. Yeah.
It's Daryl who has Megan as a target as well. You can put together by later scenes.
Right, because then as they're all like, no one's gonna shoot anybody.
Megan freaks out basically and pulls her gun. So Daryl says, don't do it, and then Megan pulls her gun. And Lewis is like, I'm a pacifist.
Yeah, and Elena walks up behind Daryl, boom, gets Daryl, takes his card, and she's out skis.
And now she has Megan, we'll later learn.
Yeah, and this is where the game is now broken.
Why is the game broken here?
Because they can't have each other, because if Elena gets Megan or Megan gets Elena, then they're going to have their own name. And there's still other people in the game. Yeah. Like there's still Felicity as Noel. Right. There's still other people playing.
Wait. Oh yeah.
It's because there's two loops.
Well, no, I was just gonna say if it's comes down, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this is where it's
because she's gonna get herself now.
Yeah,
Basically.
and then she'll win. Yeah. So Felicity is laying down when Noel comes in. And of course, this is such a I can't, Sarah. Felicity's laying in bed listening to the mixtape Noel made her, and it's just I want to vomit from this.
She's in her feels, Jess. That's what it is. Just in her feels.
DBK, do you do this? Do you have sad boy moments?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have total soundtracks that John Forte, that album. Mm-hmm. There's a guitar song that that's
Post Malone, I Fall Apart is such a good sad song.
Yeah, I have total breakup songs.
Mm-hmm.
What's your saddest song that you listen to, DBK, when you're sad and you want to cry?
I don't know, sad when I want to cry.
Well, Sarah has a song that she listens to when she wants to cry.
Oh, you're losing me.
You're losing. I just
the name of the song?
I'm a hip hop person, so they're usually anti-girlfriend songs.
Oh. Yeah. He is You Stupid Ho songs.
Yeah, those kind of songs. There's Montel Jordan ones back in the day.
But so she's listening to the tape and he's like, "Oh, you're listening. What do you think?" And she's like, "Oh, it's really good." And he's very drunk. And Felicity has called him a couple of times and he didn't answer, obviously. He says he was just walking and then he ended up at a bar. Mm-hmm. And they both apologize to each other, and they again, this scene would be so different if he wasn't very, very drunk. They apologize, and then Noel just starts to kiss her and they end up kissing, and he's just let's just forget about it. Let's just erase it. And Felicity is coming from the opposite perspective of I think we need to talk about it. I think we need to discuss it. And he is very much wanting to he wants to live in a la la land where nothing that happened actually happened and they can just go back to being the happy little couple that they were. But Felicity is I don't want to do that. And I think where to me it crosses a line is it's very obvious. Again, this is something we've talked a lot about, and about you should be looking for someone who is actively saying yes when you're in these sexual situations. And everything about Felicity, from her words to her body language, is saying, "I'm not comfortable with this. Please stop. No." And he's pushing her further down, right? To me, Sarah, it's very obvious that he is we're going to have sex right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and because he's if she's giving it up, then I'm going to have sex. And then she resists, and then he gets angry because
well, she shoves him. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And then he's like, "What am I even doing here?" And it's well, I mean, yeah, what are you you shouldn't be here right now because you're not in a position to make any of these sorts of decisions. And I don't think that this is really in Noel's heart to be forcing himself onto people. And I don't really think that this is him, but I think that this is what happens when you are hurt and emotions get in the way and you're a little bit angry. And he really fucks up in this moment. And it's just like I said before, when two people are just feeling very resentful towards one another, it's just going to be mistake upon mistake. And this is why they need to take the break that they ultimately decide to be taking.
Don't be pink shirt guy, Noel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we hate pink shirt guy. Don't do that. He's drinking and he goes too far, and he should have been reading the situation better. She's obviously uncomfortable with this. And this is the thing where it really pisses me off, that it's "Oh, well, you slept with that guy." And I'm not saying he said this, but I could feel that's what's happening in his head.
No,
that it's if you're willing to have a one night stand with Eli, then why won't you fuck me? And we were
we're having sex tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was not pleased. And I know, good on Felicity shoving him away, being, you know what I mean, like saying no, I'm not comfortable with this. He leaves. And yeah, it's like it's really awkward now, right? Like they pass each other in the cafeteria. Like Felicity, I love Felicity just being a grump because of like everything going on and laying into Megan about taking the last, was it Jello? Yeah, taking the last Jello. I found this so funny because Megan was just like, whoa, like I was not expecting that. And I love DBK, how unaware of how much Megan bothers Felicity that Megan is. Like Megan has no idea.
Well,
she's like, wait, are you mad? Like, what's going
no,
on?
yeah. Like Megan is like, in old time, Megan is my favorite character on the show. Like, I'm pretty sure I obviously like Felicity because like I love Carrie Russell. But Megan is by far was like my favorite character on the show for the longest time. Now I would say like Richard probably is on all my rewatches, but like Megan is like right up there. Like on my original ones, I probably rated her first on the pilot one. But the best thing about this interaction is when she steals the pudding, she doesn't even at first even realize it's Felicity. She like cuts in line, steals the thing, then realizes it's Felicity. And then is like, yeah, that does the whole like, are you mad? Can you guys tell me another timestamp thingy? What's on Megan's ears? Do you know who she's wearing?
It's a woman, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, I assume it's the Virgin Mary.
Oh, maybe her earrings are very. I mean, listen, her whole outfit is something to be.
Megan wears great outfits all the time.
She has her blue eyeshadow. She looks very What's the lady from Drew Carey show with like the blue eyeshadow and the red lips?
Mimi, what a come
what
on,
a deep pull.
No, I'm saying like that's the look. I'm not saying she
like that.
Yeah, listen. Her makeup is much better done than Mimi's.
No, she has a very defined look.
Yeah, and this is when Elena, again, boss bitch Elena. Elena is a girl's girl. She has Felicity's back. I love her. She is so freaking loyal. I love her. She comes up behind Felicity and she's like, give her the Jello. And Megan's like, no. And Elena's like, nice and slow or I won't shoot. You're Megan, right? Pulls out the Megan
says
card.
It will only work if you have me as a target. And then she pulls out the card.
Yeah. And then she gives back the Jello and Elena shoots her. Then she gives back the Jello and Megan hands over the card. And I love this entire time Megan still doesn't know that she's Elena.
Yeah. And it's good too. She does the line of like, I thought getting some would loosen you up. You snooze, you lose. That's what you should have told Noel.
Yeah. Oh gosh, but yeah, Elena again. Just props to Elena. I love her so much. She's incredible.
Props to Megan.
And I think DBK, was it you? It might have been someone else who said that Elena would probably be my favorite character.
That was me. Me.
Okay. I was gonna say because Elena's great. Of course.
Because she's like smart science. She's another like Annie Edwards.
Yeah,
and she's like more Annie Edwards because she's like she has like because she's a side character, so she gets to be like fun, crazy.
Yeah. So then we're back at Ben and Julie's apartment. And Julie is like, it's a little weird. It seems like they're gonna get in an argument because Julie thinks that Ben forgot about her birthday because she starts asking about like plans for next Wednesday.
Which makes me realize that we're in March because Julie's birthday is March 8th.
Oh, wow. A fellow Pisces queen.
Yes, I've been saying.
I had a guess that it was close to March.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because they're setting up next episode.
Oh, it's freaking Julie's birthday. Okay, I gotta say, it is so okay. Well, okay. Well,
next episode is another classic that people should be fighting over, but no one's fighting over Felicity.
Ben is like pulling a fast one on her because he's, you think I'd really forget your birthday? And Julie's like, well, I haven't seen much of you lately.
This is so me though, right, Jess? Like
this is 1,000% you to be like so passive aggressively like, are you busy next Wednesday? I'm not going to mention that it's my birthday because I expect that you already know it's my birthday.
Yeah, I do this all the time. I'm just like, I'm always like, it's almost my birthday. And like everyone's like, yes, we know. I think this has to be a Pisces thing.
I mean, I talk about my birthday a lot, but I think it's the way in which you do it. Yeah, I will straight up say, my birthday's coming up, bitches. Get ready, Leo season.
No, for me, I'm just like, well, like something's happening soon. It's my, it might be my birthday. I hope you don't forget.
So infuriating.
And that's exactly how Julie did it. She's like, I don't know what you're doing, but I mean, could be like a big day, and everyone.
I was happy that Ben roasted her right back, though. She deserved it for being so coy about it. I love that he was like, "Oh, I don't know," and then he's like, "Ah, gotcha. I wouldn't forget your birthday."
It's because we are trying to set ourselves up for the fact that no one is going to acknowledge our day. So if we do that, then we won't get hurt as badly when people don't celebrate you on your birthday. And like, also it's like a game of like, you can't ask to be celebrated, but you want to be celebrated.
See, Sarah is passive aggressive and I'm just aggressive, and I will just be like, it's my damn birthday, bitches.
I like
also they're like young when birthdays still matter.
Birthdays matter, GBK.
Well, no, I know, but I'm just saying, but as you get older, people are like, oh, you celebrate your birthday kind of thing. They're still the age where like selling your birthday is okay.
Yeah,
my birthday is in 6 days, and I will be celebrating. Is my birthday? It's my big day.
I'll always celebrate your birthday, but
thank you.
Also, Sarah, I'm getting the vibes of like I've been feeling this way for a few episodes now. I'm definitely getting Julie and Ben are not going to last much longer vibes.
Well, it's because Ben is everywhere but with Julie. So
yeah, that's the vibe, right? Like she even says like because he talks about going out. He's like, oh, I'm just going to say hi. Like I'm not going to stay out late. And she's like, oh, I'm just going to go back to the dorm.
Yeah, go back to the dorm. You live there.
Go home.
You have a single, you idiot. Why are you not spending every day in your single?
Yeah.
God, how about you leave my house for once?
Wait, who said that?
Leave my house for once?
Okay, this is Love is Blind, where there was this fight where the girl Chelsea was like,
oh,
she was like, I'm so mad at you because you leave the house to go hang out with other people. That's not me. And he was like, I was gone for an hour and a half. And she's like, well, you said when we were in the pods that like you didn't go out, and now you're like going out to hang out with your
friends.
And
it was his friend's birthday, and he was just trying to make an appearance and say hi. Chelsea and Jimmy both suck. Both of them suck.
Oh,
but
you
Chelsea
mean like hang out with the swim team?
Yeah, he was just trying to hang out with the swim team for an hour and a half.
Yeah, Chelsea's a needy fuck is the thing. And like she's very insecure and it's very irritating. It's so annoying. You called me clingy, which you shouldn't call someone, but you know.
You don't think Julie's like a bit clingy?
It's hard for me to tell. Like, I guess
because of the fact that argument for when people say you are either clingy or needy. Maybe if my needs were met, then I wouldn't have the desire to need something. How about that, you fucking whores?
Okay.
I mean, that's partially fair, but I guess it's all situational, I think. Like, I just think like it's hard for me to tell. I don't think Julie is clingy. No. However, I would say I think she's at Ben's apartment a lot for someone who doesn't live there.
That's true.
That's what I would say.
That's
also,
true.
That is Julie a girl's girl?
Yeah,
I think Julie's a girl's girl.
This is what this reminds me of.
Okay, GBK is about to throw shit in my face hard later. Look at him. Look at him.
I'm just asking. No, like I don't want to be the one that spoils anything, so I'm not saying.
No. I mean, like we said, everyone turns into a villain eventually, so I'm sure Julie's gonna do some fuck all shit.
No,
later.
it's Julie. Well, no, Julie is not. Like I will say right now, to me, Julie's never really ever a great friend to Felicity.
Oh, she's been a good friend to Felicity.
No, she's going out with fucking Ben. She's not a good friend.
Fair game. He puts with Felicity.
All right. Like I'm saying this, Julie can go out with Ben. But I'm just saying, if you're my friend, you're like one of my really good friends. The guy, like as you guys say, the guy I stalked to New York. You're gonna fucking date, and we're supposed to be friends. Like no. Like my own life, I had obviously I had a crush in high school or whatever, like everyone does. So my crush in high school, like whatever. From grade 9, grade 11, my homeboy, I find out she like sort of into him, like hated him for as long as I knew that like maybe he had a shot with her, hated his guts.
He was no longer your homeboy?
No, he's like still my homeboy, but like I hated his guts. Like if he would have dated her, I couldn't have said anything. I don't have any claim to this, but like I would have hated him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I love to hate anybody, really. Okay, hold up. So
okay, then my other question as well. Sorry, one more time. Because you're like, Jess's argument is fair game, Julie, like thing.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna pull the like, can Felicity ever date Ben?
Oh,
I think so. I think the situation is.
Or are you gonna pull the Julie was his girlfriend? Is that
so I think why it's okay for Julie to be dating Ben is because Felicity was already like interested in Noel and all of that was going on. So in my opinion, Ben is fair game. So now I think if Julie and Ben break up and then Felicity has an interest in Ben, I do think it's something she should mention to Julie. Like I do think it's something you talk about.
But like Felicity's allowed to date Ben
if Julie's okay with it.
So if Julie's not okay with it, Felicity's not allowed to date Ben.
How about we meet new men? This is New York City. There's how many millions of men?
Listen, Felicity should date our guy Eli. Okay. That is where I stand.
I totally agree. That's why I think Julie's a bad friend, is because she's dating Ben. Okay. I agree. I think Julie's being a bad friend for dating someone that her friend likes.
She didn't know at first,
previously. Now,
whatever. I'm just saying that's your argument is kind of like I like this person, so you're not allowed to date them if I'm against it.
Yeah, like an ideal
permission.
Exactly. That's that's where I am. Yeah.
Okay.
So Sean, it's Sean's time to shine, baby. He goes to meet Chloe, the librarian, and he's so sweet. He like she's like trying to type, and he's just like. He's rattling on about like Egyptian archaeology and everything. And then he just says like, oh, would you go out with me sometime? And she's like, oh, wait, what was the title? And he's like, no, I asked you out like on a date. And it turns out because she's going to deny him because she doesn't have a day planner.
That's so dumb.
She doesn't know her schedule.
Yeah, she needs a day planner.
Well, okay.
I'm here for this. I ship this. So
full
hard.
Circle, Sarah. Full circle.
Yeah,
I'm very excited that like they seem to like he coincidentally had a day planner for her and they go out. Like Sarah, I'm very into. Yeah, like I love that. I'm very into the Chloe and Sean relationship. I think that's very exciting. Too bad that it's not going to last more than a few episodes. It was fun while it lasted.
So you think Chloe will be back?
I mean, I would assume, but
I hope
like,
so.
I mean, do you think like, she gets three episode arc?
No, she's not interesting enough for that.
Yeah, I don't think she's around that much.
She's kind of low key boring, but
we barely know her.
Exactly. I know nothing about her.
She's boring if we barely know her. I could say Ben is boring because I know him and he's boring.
No, like I know that she's a librarian and I know that she doesn't have a day planner, and that's two things I know about her, and both are boring. I mean,
shade to all our librarian friends. I'm
joking. It's very desirable to be a librarian. You have to go to like a good university. It's very competitive to be a librarian.
There you go. So then we get this montage of Julie is laying in bed. It's like super late. It's like 1:30 in the morning and she's like reading a book. She looks all sad because we flash to Ben like out at a bar hanging with Lynn. It's like, again, they're not long for this world. It's going to be over soon, I think. But then we see Sean and librarian Chloe just on their cute little date. So cute. And Elena and Felicity are together and they pass by Noel in the hallway, and Elena asks, oh, who's your target? And Noel says, I have Felicity. And it's like, oh, looks like you have to shoot each other again. Game is broken, but it's okay.
Raise your guns up for the good.
Yeah, it'll be therapeutic. And Elena says, oh, okay, you're disqualified then. Sounds good. I win. I love Elena.
Pretty much.
So good. It's so perfect. But this is the scene, Sarah, that you were mentioning earlier where they like they have a conversation about the night before when he was drunk, and he says, it's not what I wanted to happen. Like, I was drunk. And Felicity's like really upset. And Noel says, like, I keep thinking about how I waited for you to get over your feelings for Ben, and it was worth it. And it was the easiest thing I've ever done. But I can't. Like, I'm so mad at
No, this is such a good line.
I tell you, I'm confused about my feelings for Hannah, and you can't even wait one night.
I think this is like the strongest thing Noel says the whole episode for his side of the argument.
Yes, the whole entire time I was on Felicity's side, totally. And then I was like, this is like where I was like, wait a minute, Sarah, like, think about how Noel's feeling in this moment, because it's like, yeah, from his perspective, like, he was patient and blah, blah, blah. And then she couldn't even wait a fucking day. Like, yes, he left to go with Hannah, blah, blah, blah. But like, he is saying that he's confused. And then she turns around and in one swift movement hooks up with somebody else. And I was like, I mean, that's true. That's true. She could not wait a day. Like, I mean, facts are facts.
No. See, here's where you're wrong. Here's where I also disagree with this completely. Because
I'm like, I have a different opinion than you doesn't mean that I'm wrong.
Okay, but Noel's wrong. Because what he says is, oh, I waited for you to get over your feelings for Ben. Okay, so he has a crush on Felicity. Felicity likes Ben. Good on you, Noel. You waited. Congratulations. No, and Felicity owed you nothing. She liked a guy. She didn't like you. She owed you nothing in that moment. What he is comparing it to, he's comparing his crush on Felicity, who had no ties to him him in a relationship with Felicity, saying, I'm confused about my feelings for my ex. Those are not equitable at all. Those are two very, very different situations. He had a crush on someone who had a crush on somebody else. She owed him nothing.
Well, I mean, he broke up with Hannah to be with Felicity.
After he cheated on Hannah.
No,
I guess they were in an open relationship, right?
Allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Yes, they were in an open relationship. He stated it. You can kill Noel for a lot of things, but him and Hannah were in an open relationship. It was stated on the show.
Yeah, and the reason why he felt so disconnected with her was because she was away in Boston or Chicago?
Boston.
And they didn't see each other that often. Now Hannah's in New York.
Chicago, yeah.
It was Chicago. Sorry.
Chicago.
Now Hannah's in
because of Dawson's Creek.
That's right. Thank you.
Now he's in New York, and she's in New York, and now his old excuse of, oh, we were disconnected because we were far away from each other no longer applies. Like, I mean, he had to kind of like work that out, I suppose. But what am I justifying? I don't know.
Yeah, you're trying to stick up for Noel.
No, the whole thing is, it just depends. For me, if your argument is like Noel wanted to sleep with Felicity, if like Noel shouldn't be like, what if that's why you think they broke up, then I feel like Noel is very justified in what he says at the end of the episode.
I don't think that's why they broke up, though. I truly think
right. So if you think it's more complex than that, which I do, like I'm on like I think it has nothing to do with the sex thing. But I feel like the show is framing it that it's all about like Felicity not wanting to have sex with Noel per se. So if that's the crux of the argument, then I feel like what Noel is saying at the end of the episode is the best thing he said the all episode, and I can see his point of view. But if you think it's more than that, then I don't agree with Noel at all at the end of the episode. I don't agree with it because I think it has nothing to do with like the sex of it all. So that I just think that's
and it's really interesting too, because then Felicity says like, "Oh, were you trying to test me?" Like,
because it wasn't a test at all.
No, it wasn't.
Right. You know,
I never read it that way. I never ever read it that way.
But like you could, some people could say, "Oh, it wasn't." Like, you know what I mean?
It's a fair question for her to ask at the time.
But
you know,
it's not though. If you're gonna say like, I feel like that's not fair to say. If you're gonna say what Noel is saying to her isn't fair, like, why is she gonna say, "Oh, it's a test" when it clearly wasn't a test, Felicity?
I think she just was like, she's concerned about the way he's wording it, right? So she says, like, the way you said that makes it sound like you were testing me. And he says, no. But like, I do think, for as much as I'm ragging on Noel right now because of like the shit that he says,
no, you should.
Ultimately, I'm with Sarah. Like, I really love where they ended up at the end of the episode, where they both are in agreement that like, I can't trust you, I can't forgive you, and I can't trust you, I can't forgive you. And that's the end of it. Like, because that's the truth, right? Like, if you're looking at it that way, then that's absolutely correct, that you both can't forgive each other. Then that's like, that.
Noel's mad at you, and like, you're not upset for what you did. Like, you're not in the same spots anymore.
Yeah. It's so sad. Like, it is, Sarah, this felt like a really sad breakup, just because it's like they both realize that, like, as much as they really want to be together, they can't forgive each other for the things that each one of them did. And I like that, because it's less one-sided in that way. It's more of like, it's a mutual, you know what I mean? Like a mutual thing, kind of.
Well, I think it just teaches you and reminds you that in these situations, there's like two halves of the story. Like, not everybody, there's not one person in the wrong. And that's the case in the majority of relationships and breakups, that like two people have to contribute to the falling apart of a relationship. And I think that, once again, it's just very mature for the two of them to realize that, like, no matter who's right and who's wrong, the bottom line is that they both hurt each other. They both are hurt, and they are not able to work through it at the moment. And I think that that's the best decision that they could have made, because the only thing that was going to happen was that this was going to get worse and worse in some capacity. Maybe in a few years, maybe in a few seasons, they can work it out. And I have zero doubt in my mind they will. I think that these two are endgame. But at this point in time,
you think they're endgame?
Of course I do. Of course I do. But at this point in time, they cannot be together. And that's what happened. Like, you have to get over but also, I also know that getting together with somebody after a breakup is really hard, and you have to let go of the old resentment and the old things that you do wrong, especially when you're young and stupid, or else it's not going to work, or else you're going to, keep like resenting stuff that happened 10 years ago. And that's something that I've experienced. So it's just like, it's really, really, really hard to get back with an ex and try to eliminate the shit that happened years and years ago, because once again, it's just like, I mean, maybe somebody that's like a higher evolution of myself that like actually does exhibit forgiveness could do that. But like, I mean, I don't know if the average person can.
Yeah. I also, the acting in this scene I thought was really good as well. Like, not that it's not always really good, but like,
she's a great actress. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought she really sold it.
It's almost like she won an Emmy for this season.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
what,
and
like,
this
best
was
actress?
Would you like to know who she beat?
Ooh, yes, of course.
So she was nominated in 1999. It was between her, Kim Delaney, Roma Downey, Gillian Anderson, and I think that's it, right? Those.
Okay, just had to look up all those people.
A bunch of randos. We don't know.
No, NYPD.
Oh, Gillian
Blue,
Anderson is iconic.
X-Files. So is Kim Delaney from NYPD Blue.
Yeah, Gillian Anderson. Sarah, did you watch Sex Education? I can't remember.
No,
she's in it. She's iconic.
So it was she beat out. Yeah, Gillian
Best
Anderson.
actress in a drama series. Is that what the category was?
Yeah, and then it was nominated for TV show against The Practice, ER, Law and Order, and X-Files, but it lost.
To what?
The Practice won that year.
Oh, okay. The X-Files song is such a bop. It goes boo 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 boo.
Oh, and yeah, I like the theme song because I'm all in on everything.
Da doo da da doo da.
It's such a vibe. It go for me. It's very like on brand with the show Felicity. Because now that we're at the end.
All right, so let's start off by giving our winner of the episode, and then we'll get into feedback and all the other stuff. So, winner of Assassins, Sarah, any thoughts on who should win this episode?
I mean, didn't Elena win?
Yes,
Assassins?
she
Didn't
did win
the
Assassins.
game.
Yes, which is also why I'm going to put my vote behind Elena.
Sure, why not?
When's the DBK?
I'm down with it. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we could give it to Felicity this episode if we wanted to. But
could.
I'm fine with Elena with getting it.
I think Elena deserves it.
She's all into it. I love Megan in her few scenes because Megan is like gonna start to pop up a little more as well, like near the end of the show.
Fun.
Because the show, I feel like after the Thanksgiving episode starts to finally find like its footing as a show.
And, like, the Thanksgiving episode was a turning point. I feel like
I agree. Yeah.
All right, we do have a voicemail from Temmie, so let's see what he has to say.
Hi, ladies. I listened to your podcast with Adam, and I heard the discussions about the distance, how now that Hannah was back in town that Noel was conflicted. But I think I realized the order of events, that he was with Felicity because Felicity was there. Hannah came back. So he's like, oh, she's close. But then he came back to Felicity because she's in the dorm room. So 5 blocks versus the dorm, I'll take in the dorm building. So, and Adam's discussion about the beta, every time somebody told Noel to do something, he did it. Go back to see your girlfriend. I am going to go back. Go find out who this other guy is. I'm going to go to the art studio and just circle him like a freak. So, in honor of the Day Planner miracle that Sean pulled off, you should check out the lyrics to Day Tripper by the Beatles. I think it actually encapsulates the episode, this one that we just watched, pretty good. Thanks.
Okay, Day Tripper by the Beatles.
I love the fact that Noel was like, you know what? I thought about it, and that even though Hannah is 5 blocks away from me, Felicity is still closer because she's down
right down the hall.
And
I love making a relationship decision based off proximity. That's hilarious.
Oh, that's so funny.
I'm currently listening to Day Tripper.
I don't know this Beatles song, and I felt like I knew most of them.
I don't know this song.
I tried to please her. She only played One Night Stands. I tried to please her. She only played One Night Stands now. Rude.
Oh,
she's a big teaser. She took me halfway there. Oh my God.
Okay, we don't Beatles. Jeez, no wonder this one didn't become popular.
Oh,
jeez,
no.
Louise. Well, as expected for the next episode title, it is Happy Birthday. So I think we know whose birthday it is.
How did you do this? How did you big brain this and make a Happy Birthday episode become the weekend of my birthday? How did you do this?
You know what? I galaxy brained it last year when we were like, we're going to do Felicity. I was like, if we start in November, by the time we get to March, we'll get to an episode that's called Happy Birthday.
And it's on March. If it's Julie's birthday, that's March 8th. My birthday is March 9th.
Yes.
And how did you do this? You are a genius.
Yeah. Thank you.
Are you shocked by Jessica's genius and talent?
It's pretty impressive. She pulled it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. If only Julie's birthday was March 9th, I would have literally fainted.
Yeah.
Julie shares a birthday with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Wow.
Sarah Michelle Gellar's husband.
Yes, it all comes together.
Who doesn't watch Buffy?
Oh no, really?
Yeah, he says it.
Oh wait,
it infuriates the Buffy fans.
I'm really sorry. Oh no, it is. It's Freddie Prinze Jr.'s birthday, but it's also James Van Der Beek's birthday.
There you go. Wow,
it's a big birthday for birthdays, and all I have is Little Bow Wow and Brittany Snow. If I was born a day earlier, I could have shared a birthday with the Beeks.
Well, the good news is there are new people being born every day, so you never know. You could always
and I know somebody that's niece was born on Leap Day.
Wow.
So she only gets a birthday every 8 years. No,
4 years.
4 years.
Well, that's our episode, Assassins. Thank you so much, DBK, for coming on and joining us for this episode. It was so much fun to catch up with you and finally hear your thoughts on Felicity, because obviously we knew you're a big fan, but getting to chat with you about it was so much fun. Anything you want to promote, plug, anything you want to talk about?
None promote plug. I have a few more things because I came like prepared. So I just do you have a little...
Yes. What do you have?
Okay, well, do you know about the music controversy?
No.
Okay, so all the music you're hearing on the show is not from the original broadcast.
Oh, I feel like someone maybe had emailed us about this and was like, see if you can get your hands on copies of something else, because it's not.
There's some lady online that has a music restoration project that explains it better, but it's like a whole copyright thing. Like when it transferred to DVD, they weren't so supposedly all the music on my DVDs and the music you're getting on streaming is different.
Oh,
do you know about the Riley Weston controversy?
No.
Who's Riley Weston?
Riley Weston is Story from the episode where Felicity gets the prospective roommate.
It's the prospective roommate.
The annoying girl that goes out partying with Megan.
I
thought was maybe the girl from Dawson's Creek.
Oh,
so
yeah, right.
Apparently she's like an actress for like a long time. So she's actually like way old. Like, how old would you guess that girl was?
The girl who was supposed to be like a high schooler.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, she looked young to me.
She was like 30 in that scene.
What? Holy shit.
Oh my god, she's like the orphan, like the story of like the kid that gets adopted. Oh my god, ew.
She's like 4'11" and like less than 100 pounds supposedly. So she also is a writer apparently. And later on, because she's a woman, so obviously she gets typecast, and you get to a certain age and you're too old, women, and we can't have you. So she started lying about her age, and she became a writer on Felicity and said she was like a high school writer.
Oh my god.
It became like a big deal. Like, look at this high school like this girl that's writing for Felicity that's a prodigy. And then it came out actually she's a 30-year-old woman. So it was a bit of like a controversy. I didn't know she was the actress.
So funny.
What actress was this? What's
the lady that played Story, Riley Weston is her name. You can Google her. She's
so
like
funny.
59. I think it'll probably come up on her Wikipedia, but I don't know how.
She's 57 years old.
Yeah.
Oh and my god.
It'll probably that'll come up the story.
Age deception and Felicity. This is so funny.
That's hilarious.
And then the other fun thing that I wanted to come with was her wardrobe, because I know you guys used to do Fashion Hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this was interesting. This was interesting to me, at least. Her wardrobe is very Annie inspired, I guess. And then Carrie Russell, I don't know at like what point, became like a huge stickler about Felicity's wardrobe. So she wouldn't like wear certain, like she never wore like nail polish, like certain hair clips and jewelries, because she felt like the character Felicity wouldn't do that. So like, I don't know if that's something, because you guys like fashion, so maybe something to pay attention. I don't know when she like gets
that's interesting.
Authority, but she was like very particular about like the look of Felicity. And I like love how Felicity dresses all throughout the show. So
yeah, I do feel like we've certainly gotten to like, she's always wearing like those like grandpa sweater sort of things, like very fluffy sweaters. Her hair is either down or like in this like ponytail, low pony kind of thing, low bun. And yeah, she doesn't really wear hair clips. That's interesting. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on that, because yeah, she has a very interesting wardrobe, especially because like, we're also watching Buffy, and like I feel like Felicity and Buffy are like dressed in complete opposite directions.
Yeah. And then NYU didn't give them permission to use the school name, so that's why it's not NYU.
Yeah.
And then JJ Abrams is like childhood friends with Sean. So that's like, and Sean is in like all of JJ Abrams' projects.
Yes, I did know that much, I think.
Amanda Foreman, who's Megan, is also in a lot of JJ Abrams stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then I think that's like it for, and then there's no like real good Felicity ratings list of like what the best and worst of is. So like, but from what I could find, you have seen a two best of episodes so far, and supposedly 3 of the worst are in the top 15.
Oh wow, we've seen 3 of the worst episodes already.
Like of the, because
according to that list.
Felicity has like I find it has like a very small footprint in like the
to do the ranking sort of thing.
So I found like a site that gave me the 15 worst, 15 best, or well, not like did a whole list of like worst and best. So I used that, and then I found other lists, and then did like a whole like if they popped up a couple times. But they said Spooked is in the best list. The pilot, which obviously is like I feel like a cheat.
Yeah.
And then they said Assassins were the 2 best. And
I mean, I loved the Thanksgiving episode. I feel like that should have been in the top. Like
it's not in the top 15, and it's not in the bottom 15. And then the bottom 15 were Drawing the Line Part 2.
Okay. Yep.
The Fugue, funny enough, and Cheating were of the season 1, the ones that you've seen so far are
interesting.
And
well, we'll have to see, because I've heard, I mean, from what I've heard, like people don't like the end of they don't like season 4, I think is the only thing I really know.
Because of the I can't say, but there's a reason why people don't like season 4.
Because her hair got cut.
Because I would say the ratings for me, I think the ratings are 1, 2, 3, 4 actually, but I think the right ratings, if you ask Felicity people, would be 2, 1, 3, 4.
Okay, that tracks.
Possibly 2, 3, 1, 4.
I find a lot of shows peak in season 2 because they found their footing after season 1, and usually like, especially, I mean, not with Felicity, but with a lot of other shows.
Felicity's going to get more outlandish as it goes on.
I love that it's not already outlandish.
Well, my big worry about you guys, Felicity, is like I feel like nothing happens in Felicity, even though like a lot of stuff happens. I just feel like Felicity is like a very vibe show.
Yeah, it's like a college. We're in college. We're hanging out.
Because when I did my like rankings, I found nothing was like under a 6.5, but nothing was really over like 8.2. It's all like a solid, nice like 7 all the way through, kind of ish.
That's not bad.
So. I mean, I love Felicity. I hopefully you guys are enjoying it.
I'm really liking it. I think, Sarah, we hit our stride. Like once we got to Thanksgiving, I think we were like, okay, we've hit the stride now.
And you like Javier, so that's good. It's funny. That was my biggest worry was Javier.
Javier's the best.
I thought Jess might hate Javier, be like, oh, he's such a stereotype.
I mean, in some ways he is, but I also I love the like logic that we came up with for why he hires Felicity, and it's because he wants the like tea. He wants the hot goss. He loves the drama.
And then I would say for Javier, since you like Javier, I don't know if you've noticed it yet, but you should pay attention to how he has like his mispronunciation of certain words is great.
Yeah,
because he's like, you have a crunch.
Crunch. Make recipe.
Make recipe. Yeah, so this was so much fun. I can't wait to come back and talk about Julie's birthday right around Sarah's birthday. Sarah, who's gonna have a better birthday, you or Julie?
Probably me.
Yeah, I have a feeling Julie's birthday is not going to go according to plan.
100% it's going to be Sarah. Julie's birthday is not going to be great.
Poor Julie. She's probably going to get broken up with, or she's going to break up with Ben. I just feel it happening.
I'm super pumped. For sure the next 2 episodes, like Jess, you're going to love next episode and be like, oh my God, I can't believe all this stuff. And then,
I mean, if we're looking at like birthday episodes, like Dawson's Creek has one of our favorite episodes of all time happening on a birthday.
Yeah. Well, this is going to like blow your mind for a whole nother reason, I feel like. And then the next episode, if you don't love Jess, I will be like shocked. Because surprisingly, it came up on some like worst of episodes, and I was like, my mind was blown.
Okay, interesting. So we have a lot to look
do you
forward
think
to.
that I just don't like anything?
No,
You're just more apathetic about stuff than I am.
You didn't look very happy during this podcast. But no, you guys, I was like, I felt like terrible because I was like, oh my God, like I thought you guys would like be all on board with Felicity. So I was like, at the beginning, I was like, oh my God, like they hate this show. Like,
No, I definitely am enjoying the show. I just like to rag on some of the characters' decisions.
No, this is my revenge for Joey, because like I definitely like lose my mind sometimes listening to you guys. Like the whole Sally's not real thing drives me insane.
Not real. What are you talking about?
I was like, my kill shot was coming for Jess, but then she finally was like, at least I get it as a device narrative, because I was like, it's a device narrative, guys. Like that's why she like. But and then I was always like,
we figured it out today just for you. So, we got the thinkers going for you.
It makes you feel better. I freak out at home listening to these sometimes, being so bad.
Oh.
Well, Sarah, it's a new month. We're still doing Buffy. We're still doing Felicity. We're also going to have some bonus content.
We are.
And if you didn't already notice, I've launched a new podcast with our friend Stuart. We're going to be talking Schitt's Creek. It is called Talkin' Shit. That is talkin' without a G. So if you want to subscribe, we would greatly appreciate it. If you're a fan of Schitt's Creek, it's going to be a really fun ride. And if you haven't watched Schitt's Creek, you really should, because it's such a great show.
Eugene Levy.
Yeah, Eugene Levy is incredible. So go check that out. We're going to have Stuart on as a guest this month as well. So that should be a ton of fun. Yeah. Anything else, Sarah? Anything else you can think of that you want to plug, talk about?
No. I mean, like I have something in the works too, Jessica.
What is it?
Well, it's
it's the teasers. It's a teaser.
I mean, I don't know. I'm going to be working on the back end of some talented podcasters. So
okay, good to know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that is all we have for you all this week. Until next week, Sarah's birthday and Julie's birthday. We hope you all have a good one. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.